Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Franceschi Hall as we're here for another doubleheader of the Humboldt Roller Derby. Doubleheader tonight that features the annual inter-squad game between the North Betty Jetty or the North Jetty Betties. I always mix that up. The North Jetty Betties and the Widowmakers in game one, and then game two will feature another Bay Area team, the Rolling Dead, up against Humboldt Route Force. I am joined tonight for the first time by the Merchant of Menace. Welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And how are you associated with the Humboldt Roller Derby?
Honestly, I'm fairly new to the world of Derby. I started out because I'm engaged to one of the skaters. I started out as...
Nepotism.
Yes, a little bit, a little bit. So I am Mr. Wicked because I'm engaged to Bjorn Wicked. But then also I ended up getting onto the board of Humboldt Roller Derby, and that's where I got my name, Merchant of Menace.
Well, we'll talk about that. I have to ask this. Are you Shakespearean in any way?
I actually am. I have directed Shakespeare plays in Humboldt County for about 15, almost 20 years. So,
really?
Yeah.
Did you used to do them in the park at Redwood Park?
I've done them in Redwood Park. I've done them at North Coast Repertory Theater. I've directed at about 3 or 4 different theaters around here, but only Shakespeare in the 2 venues.
So when you had the opportunity to pick the Derby name,
yeah,
how fast did Merchant of Menace come to you?
Honestly, there were a few other top contenders, and I think if I remember rightly, someone on Facebook suggested Merchant of Menace, and as soon as that was suggested, I had a little poll up, and the moment that was suggested, all the other poll items were just... They were null and void. That was it. I was Merchant of Menace. Yeah.
You know, am I going to have to do that? Adopt a Derby name?
Oh yeah, I think you should be thinking about it the entire time tonight.
You know, I have been thinking of one. I want to throw this one out there for you. Ready?
I'm ready. What do you have?
Redneck Man.
Oh, all right, all right. There we go.
For the broadcaster.
I like it. I like it.
Well, a lot of fun in the air right now, which is, you know, in contrast to the last Derby event we saw. We'll go back and talk about that before tonight's main event. But tonight, the annual scrimmage, and this is a tradition. When players come into the Humboldt Roller Derby, they're divided up either as Widowmakers or North Jetty Betties. I mean, how much do you know about this process?
Oh, I don't know much about how they get divided on the side. I've been here long enough to know that as people are coming up through training camp, there's a bit of a question on which one they're going to end up on. I know that a lot of times as more veteran skaters retire from one side, you get an infusion of new blood into that team. So this should be very interesting.
So this is kind of a behind the scenes part, you know, the mythical Humboldt Roller Derby story. And, you know, that being said, is there any sort of rivalry or maybe even animosity or even bad blood between the Betties and the Widowmakers?
Definitely no bad blood. When everything's all done, they all go to the shanty and have a good time together. But rivalry, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, rivalry. And is it a draft as people are coming up through the ranks of the training camps and the introductory programs that they go through? Is there a draft? Do they?
You know, I think I probably have to keep these closely guarded secrets to myself, which totally I completely know about
Well, we'll be seeing that. Now, I'm going to say one thing from an announcer's point of view tonight. Some of you are watching the game on Access Humboldt. Some of you are listening here on KCH 96.7. Never good in the broadcast industry. Teams that are covering up their jerseys with Hawaiian shirts.
It is a little difficult.
It is a little difficult to call the number. So we'll do the best we can in this game. Many of these skaters will come back out for game 2 tonight. Game 2 tonight will be Humboldt Route Force. They're going to be playing the Bay Area Derby, San Francisco Rolling Dead, and that'll be a chance for redemption, actually.
It absolutely will be.
Because the last time out we were here in February, It was a rough night as far as the incredible defense that all-star team from the Bay Area played that night, taking jammers and jamming the jammers, and not letting Humboldt escape. In the meantime, you put that much pressure on a defense and you're not scoring, eventually, the dam's going to break.
Yeah, absolutely.
The dam done busted.
Yeah.
And it was a rough night.
From what I understand, that team is actually coming on really well after facing us and has been obliterating some other opponents. But
I don't doubt it at all. I think that in the 3 years that we've done the broadcast, they were by far the cream of what we've seen teams that have come here. So it's an extraordinary. These are volunteers. They're volunteers all up and down the Pacific Coast that are coming to take these, go ahead and have these games, take these bouts on. It's an enormous production. You've got players that both play and work to make it happen. That happens all up and down the coast. You've got teams that are longer running, in a sense. You got teams that are coming back from the start of COVID, like we saw the Shasta team last time out. And the bottom line is that, some teams are just a little farther along than others. And that was apparent the last bout. So we'll look forward to the San Francisco Rolling Dead tonight. And I think the key to that game immediately will be if Humboldt can get its jammers going. This game, though, is a chance for people to get loose. It's a chance for people to have some fun. And it's also a chance for new recruits to, get their feet wet.
Show their stuff a little bit. Absolutely.
Is there anybody that has been talked about at camp?
Oh, well, I hear rumors now and then about who's doing well going up through training. But I will admit I'm not in the know quite enough to be able to drop the names yet. I'm just excited to see what they can do tonight.
Okay, so then tell me what a board member does.
Okay, so a board member does a lot. Yeah.
Man, I'm invaluable.
Exactly. I'm fantastic. No, we get pulled in on pretty much all aspects of production. The skaters actually do a ton.
Well,
though.
Stop there. I have to call a timeout.
Yeah.
Tell me what the areas of production are.
All right. Absolutely. So as you look around the building here, almost nothing that we have here in Franceschi Hall gets to stay set up in between bouts. And so it's kind of a combination between board members working with skaters to strike everything after bouts, to get everything set up again before bouts. And then each board member generally has a couple of committees that they head or are in charge of.
Give me a list of some committees.
So we have whoever's in charge of concessions. We have publicity committee. We have merchandise committee. We have bout production. So there's a lot of different committees. Of course, we have to deal with finances. I'm fairly new to the board. I'm just getting my feet wet. At the moment, I'm helping out with about 3 different committees.
And what
now.
Committees are they?
I've gone to 1 meeting for the merch committee, which
and the merchandise is fantastic.
Thank you. I wish I could.
I wish there was a small child size because T-shirt. I have a 3-year-old granddaughter.
Oh.
I'd love to have her have a Humboldt Roller Derby.
Well, I'll have to be sure to mention that at the next meeting. But also, I've sat in on several meetings for the Saplings. They're going to be bringing back the youth team and training
Very
camp.
important,
Yeah.
I think. And then how much interest is there in the Saplings right now?
Oh, there's been a tremendous amount of interest for quite a while. We've been hearing for years that people want the Saplings to come back, and we just haven't quite had a chance to make it happen yet. But there have been a couple of board members who've been very interested in it, a few skaters, and now I think we finally have the personnel to make it happen.
Now, when you with the Saplings, is the minimum age 18, or do you go to high schools and try to recruit people? Or
The Saplings, we go all the way down younger than high school, actually, for our youngest teams. If I remember rightly, I think the Saplings might start at 12, but Yeah, I don't quote me on that for sure. There's training camps for kids, though.
Wow, fantastic. And those are run here at Franceschi Hall?
I don't have the details on that
Okay.
yet. I'm sorry.
No problem.
But I do think you're right.
I'm just an inquiring mind,
Yeah.
man.
I think they are.
All the headphones out of those, it's like all the way up. But I
You said 3 committees. The third one would be.
All right, I'm supposed to be helping out with PR. I just have not gone into a committee meeting.
Well, doesn't this count?
Well, there we go.
Don't you get
I
some
suppose-
merit badges for
I
this?
suppose I get a merit badge for this.
Well, my next question would be, have you gone to an away bout?
I haven't gone to an away bout, but what I did go to was the World Championships up in Portland.
Wow.
Which was just absolutely mind-blowingly fantastic. If you want to see some really top-notch derby, it was impressive. And I will say that a whole lot of Humboldt Roller Derby went up there to watch and to cheer it on and get some strategies and things. I saw people actually taking notes and trying to come back and say, what did this team do that made them so dominant that we can then adopt?
Wow. What about the scene? I mean, you must have, as a board member, you're up there. I mean, you're looking at the production value at that level.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at production value. I was looking at merchandise. I went ahead and bought a few pieces of merchandise from some of the top teams in the world. Wanted to see if I could get some posters or something to bring back, but that didn't seem to be there prevalent.
That'd be kind of a cool thing, kind of like the old Fillmore West kind of posters for each bout that's coming up, you know, collectibles. I like it.
I actually, I went ahead and got a patch from every team that had a patch for jackets.
Wow.
And at some point, I'm going to get myself a jean jacket or a vest or something and put a patch on for every team I've watched that has it.
Fantastic. That's totally fantastic. I've heard, and I do not know this because I have yet to see a road bout, that this is a very special and unique and well-produced atmosphere here at Franceschi Hall, that teams like to come here.
That is absolutely what I've heard as well. That the crowd is incredibly supportive, that the atmosphere is festive, people love the music, they love the entire production. So, yeah. I haven't been able to see the bouts in other places other than the World Championship, but...
You set the bar pretty high there.
Well, you know, yeah. Might as well see what they do at the very top, right?
Yeah. You know, interesting to me is that you talk about the production value of the Humboldt Roller Derby and what they're doing to make it a great experience for visiting teams. I mean, so long here in this area, most sports, I think the Crabs have kind of had a gold standard as far as getting teams to come up. But it's been very difficult to get visiting teams up for, you know, big time high school games or tournaments and that kind of thing. And the fact that Humboldt Roller Derby is a draw, that they've been able to draw quality opponents, I mean, to come here, that's a testament to them.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Well, we're getting ready here. A game like this, where you've got people that are going to be maybe trying to catch the eye of the coach so they can get in for later, or the bottom line, just warm up and not get hurt for the next game. There's a real width of interest.
Absolutely.
For the players.
I can agree with that. I think this is a great spot for a new player to show off exactly what they have and try to make it onto a higher roster in later bouts. But if you're already set for the late bout, just don't get hurt and try to get warmed up.
There you go. There you go. So North Jetty Betties, which I think is one of the great names of a team that I've heard, and the Widowmakers. Widowmaker, of course, a play on words, right? A Widowmaker is
Right. From a timber falling, yeah.
From a timber falling, and they wear the timber associated uniforms with the Mackinaws, I guess we can say, and the North Jetty Betties more with a beach look. So, as a spouse, how does a spouse watch the game?
Well, I will say there's a whole lot of sitting back and cringing on occasion when you see a particularly hard hit and you see someone you care about very much hit the floor and you think, okay, pop back up, pop back up.
Now, the next morning.
Oh, she's so proud of her bruises.
Really?
I will say sometimes she will come in after a bout and she'll show me a bruise she thinks is really promising. And then if it doesn't turn purple the next day, she'll say it didn't blossom.
It didn't blossom. So is there some sort of pride that the club has?
Oh yeah, there's some pride in being able to show off a really good bruise.
And what do now we're asking some real inside information. What do Derby participants value the most? Is it the hits, the bruises, the scoring, the wins?
There's a lot of questions there. A lot of people come in with different feelings, but we did just have a recent league-wide meeting. A league-wide meeting where they talked about things about what the league's main values were and just core traditions. I think a lot of individual players really do value those hits, value the competition. But overall, we really love that feeling of community, that everybody coming together. They love those high fives at the end around the track.
With the fans. You're listening to KZZH 96.7 Eureka Community Radio from Access Humboldt. You may be watching on Access Humboldt as well. And we want to also thank one of our underwriters, the Speakeasy, which is a New Orleans craft bar that's located at 411 Opera Alley in Eureka. They have seasonal craft cocktails, local fresh ingredients, live jazz, blues music, and more. The Bettys are taking their pregame lap.
And they brought beach balls.
They have beach balls.
I love it when they bring props.
You like the props? And you know, I also like the interpretation for somebody maybe that's never been here, what the North Jetty is really like. I mean, the last thing I think of the North Jetty as being is some sort of tropical paradise. So you said the league got together and talked about, now, I know that there's independent teams along the West Coast. I mean, that group talked?
No,
or?
in this case, I just mean our local teams got together.
Our local teams.
Yeah. Everybody who's involved, the skaters, the officials, the board members. It was quite the meeting.
And so what? Was there like a mission statement that came out?
Yeah, basically it was looking at the mission. What are the core values? And a lot of the core values came down to being about connection and support and community. But of course, there also had to be a few in there that had to do with competition.
Well, and I think, you know, to be honest, it's difficult to build a community in a sports team. And the reason I say that is that I think by putting the team together, that creates a tremendous bond. But you have to be somewhat successful. You can't be a losing ball club and build a core community. You have to have wins.
That's
and
true.
So there is that aspect of it. The Bettys are taking their final lap, and here the Widowmakers are coming with, here we go, like the Rose Parade or something. They're going to come in behind this sign that looks like
a
saw.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming out from under it, which kind of like, there you go. The big axe. And so introduced one by one, coming out from under the saw or the Widowmakers, laughing. Now, obviously, this game is easily in the category of building the esprit de corps, but it's that second game tonight that's going to be the one that's going to be telling how this program responds to the situation that happened last time, which was an ugly loss by 300 points.
It was an ugly loss, but against a very good team, and I'm hoping that we've learned a lot out of it.
You know, that's one thing also that happens as teams play in playoffs up and down the coast. They wind up playing longer. Humboldt Roller Derby shuts down in the fall, and that's their first time out. And yet that team from the Bay Area had been playing and going through playoff competition and whatnot. And so they were a little on a different level as far as recent experience. They'd played in a much shorter time span. So is Bjorn Wicked in the game tonight?
Oh, she is in both bouts.
Both bouts.
Oh, yeah, there she just skated right past us.
A
Number
Widowmaker.
59.
Man,
And if you look
you're
closely,
married to a Widowmaker.
Oh, engaged.
Engaged to a Widowmaker.
It is kind of scary sounding, though,
It
isn't
doesn't sound good.
If you look very closely, she has a tattoo down on her shin that is a lizard, and she makes sure to write her number on the lizard for every bout, and it gets face makeup that matches her face makeup.
Wow.
Wow, it's very small face
Some
makeup.
inside information there. We've got the officials coming on. They are tonight Tasmanian Devil. They'll be the outside pack referee. Blondie, whose hair is no longer blonde, but was when they adopted the name. They're the jamming ref. Megalodonna is a jamming ref. Missy Elliott, a pack ref and head ref. And then Aurora Chaser is an outside pack ref. I don't know how the referees do it. I don't know how they keep the score together. And, you know, the other group that's amazing here is the scorekeepers, because so much of the score you'll see you're trying to announce is difficult because the points come rolling in. They don't. It's not like you watch someone cross the plate or get to the end zone. Right. You know? It's a much different type of scoring. So here we go, and breaking out immediately for the Betties is Raging Eddie. Raging Eddie had a great bout in the opening bout last time against Shasta. It was a breakout bout. Oh, hit hard there by Bjorn Wicked.
She did indeed.
With the hip check. Wow. And the pack is jammed up right now, not even to turn two yet. And once again, another hard hit by Torque and Beans. It's Shaka Punch. That's the Widowmaker jammer, and they have broke loose, and all of a sudden Raging Eddie's going to call it off. Shaka Punch had a bit of a lead on Raging Eddie and called it off. There were no scoring, or excuse me, I'm going to take that back. Betty's got 4. There's your example.
There we
go.
Just
when you think that there's no points on the board, they come flying up. So 4-0, 23:43 to go. Second jam of the night. And here come the blockers to cinch up here at the jam line. And here we go. Pushing is jammer for the Betties, and we don't have a number on that just yet.
And Not Lisa went down hard.
There you go. Not Lisa. Jamming for the Betties. Jamming for the Widowmakers. Wearing number 925 is Poetic Justice, but they are being held up right now by Destroyer. Good job on the triangles all the way into the second turn. And things have been gummed up. Braun-Luc Picard back in the bout. So breaking loose, Not Lisa coming around for a scoring opportunity, wearing the mermaid tights, sans the fin, and action's going to happen in turn number 4.
And Not Lisa called it off.
Called it off. I wonder if that's the strategy tonight, once you break loose, to go ahead and call off that jam as the other jammer catches up with you, the opposing jammer.
I just recently learned something after the last bout. If you see a skater, one of the jammers, tapping the top of their head, apparently that is to let them know that they're going to call it off as soon as they get 1 or 2 points.
Wow.
They're going to try to get past the hips, get the points, and then call it off.
There you go. 5-0 Betties. And we've got some new jammers taking place for the Widowmakers. That's T-Pain. And for the Betties, Cloverkill, jammer that we've seen many times in the last couple of seasons. So Cloverkill coming around here, back all the way to turn number 1 and going straight ahead and past Bjorn Wicked and scoring some points. Meanwhile, T-Pain taken down. Taken down. Taken down there by Looked like Sprocket Rocket made that play.
And we now have a power jam, it looks like, for the Betties.
There you go. T-Pain to the penalty box, and Cloverkill lining up behind their blockers. And now taking on the triad, so to speak, of the Widowmakers and breaking through without much resistance there. An 8-0 run for the Betties. And Cloverkill, once again, the Betties up 13-0. Cloverkill's number is 13, so maybe a good luck. And now some more points scored, added on, 17-0 with 20:32 to go. Action kind of slow and gummed up there in turn number 3. And Bjorn Wicked pushing Cloverkill and tiptoeing the line and staying in. Good skate work there. 21-0, and they're going to call off the jam, a 16-0 jam.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the killers.
Yeah.
Those are the killers. You can't have those long runs like that.
Rock me.
Does this come on and take a free ride? Is that what this is?
I think you might be
I
right.
heard this the other day on the radio. I think for the first time since junior high school, and here it is tonight.
Very nice.
This is what it is.
I love it.
Who did
I love
this?
it.
Was it the Doobie Brothers? No.
What? I think you might be right.
The
I think
Dooley
you might be
brothers?
right. The
I
Dooley
don't.
brothers.
I think I hadn't heard it since 1974, and then I heard it on the radio. You know, I was driving through Southern Oregon. You know, you're just trying to get something on the radio, and I heard Free Ride, and I kind of thought of, you know, some junior high dance, and then here it is tonight.
There we go.
Unbelievable.
I've got to say, one of the things I really love about the atmosphere here is just listening to the music from the band. Sometimes they pull out some fantastic songs. You hear those first couple of notes, and you can just tell it's going to sweep through the crowd.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes you're trying to concentrate, and the next thing you do is you're trying to broadcast over 25 or 6 to 4, you know? It's nothing like it. All right, here we go. Is there still a bout going on here? What's going on? So Cherry Bomber I can see back there, but now they cinched up.
Looks like Furious George. In
Furious
there for the
George,
Betties.
who really, I think, is a terrific jammer to watch. Total speed jammer. And you got Cherry Bomber that's, you know, as subtle as a bulldozer and a great jammer, a straight ahead jammer. And then Furious George, far more of a speed jammer, but
Very
great
jukey.
job by the Widowmakers right now holding up Furious George. Cherry Bomber just doing what they do best. Pushing, pushing, pushing. And the Widowmakers are going to be scoring some points because they've got the right person at the right time. Cherry Bomber has been a very powerful jammer so far this season and the last 2 seasons. And in doing so, goes ahead and scores a lot of points. They're going to call off the jam. The panty had been passed. Now, that was a controversy last game. Do we say the head covering can be passed, or do we say it's still the panty?
Apparently, they're moving away from saying the panty has been passed. Though I think the head cover has been passed.
Wow.
Well,
Did you ever see the movie with Ben Gazzara and Jimmy Stewart and
I did
Anatomy
not.
of a Murder, one of the great courtroom dramas? There's a whole part of that movie where they're going to enter the word panty into evidence. So we're moving away from panty?
Yeah, I think we're moving away from panty.
21-7, and all right.
Sorry to ruin your day.
Great. Man. So things really jamming up and breaking loose now. That's Raging Eddie. Raging Eddie, who kind of came on the scene last game in the first bout in February and was the first jammer tonight and got the Betties off to a right start and now scoring points here. Meanwhile, pushing for the Widowmakers, the head cover has been passed to Chakra Punch, and now out on the loose. Hey, tiptoeing along the inside. And calling off the jam before Chakra Punch could ever catch up and get some points back for the Widowmakers. Raging Eddie. That was Poetic Justice that passed the head cover along. Has this been talked about at the board level?
I don't think we've actually discussed it at the board level.
Is there a vocabulary committee?
There is not. There is not. At least if there is, it's secret.
The secret. Are there secret committees?
No. I think the secret
Very
committee.
French Revolution kind of thing.
I think the secret committee is people chatting at the shanty afterwards.
Here we go. 17:32 to go. And T-Pain back in there with a little more. Whoa, taken down there. That's got to hurt. But a great move. Getting away from Braun-Luc Picard, who's got to go to the penalty box. And T-Pain immediately calls off the... No, didn't. Was maybe signaling to their blockers.
Ouch.
Chasing T-Pain is not Lisa. T-Pain took a tumble there.
She called it off as soon as she hit the ground, but I'm not sure she avoided some points for the Betties.
Well, she was on the Betty, so she picked up 2. The Widowmakers got 2 themselves. It's 27-9 with 16:34 to go here in the first. I see Cloverkill and Cherry Bomber. Hey, this is a great jammer matchup right now.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Cloverkill with a running start. Cherry Bomber is the least... what is the shortest distance is a straight line. That is their style of jamming.
Yeah, you have a lot of different jammer styles, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you have the ones who are really jukey and you have the ones who are really strong and straightforward.
Right. The old, the great way back, one of the, like Ring Lardner wrote about the old Army teams, Mr. Outside and Mr. Inside.
And
I think that's true.
Yeah.
When you have sports like that, you either have to be an outside player or an inside player. And Cherry Bomber, definitely the inside player.
Absolutely agree.
On a power jam right now, because Cloverkill is seated in the penalty box. All kinds of action there in turn 4 and knocked out. Knocked out of bounds there by number 64, Destroyer. So Cherry Bomber forced to go back and now finally calling off the jam, forced to go back and engage the pack. And that doesn't happen very much to Cherry Bomber. So yeah. Destroyer there with a good defensive play.
Destroyer's a very strong blocker.
Well, I think that's a key. I mean, we've the defense that's played on the triangles, the triads, is so impressive sometimes. But when you get a player that gets that out, that open space stop, that's a great defensive player. Chakra Punch doing a little of both, weaving and pushing and breaking to the outside. Meanwhile, Cloverkill on the outside, and it's Cloverkill that's going to break free. Chakra Punch had that tough time last bout, and I know wants to get their game going.
There goes Chakra.
Broke loose there. Cloverkill, in the meantime, knocked out here at corner number 1 and having to rejoin. And now knocked out again and calling off the jam. So scoring would be very minimal in that one. We'll wait a second here and see what comes up. 13:56 to go. First half, 31-11. North Betty Jetties had that 116-0 run. Other than that, it's been a very even bout.
Absolutely. If you take out that one run, we're looking at, what, a 4-point game?
That's right. It's been very you got to be good at math at this, too, if you're doing it. And here's Furious George. Oh, taken on there by Stranger Danger. Danger. What a play, knocking Furious George to the ground. That's got to hurt, and that's going to bring on some enforcement, because you know what? You knock down there, Jammer, and here comes Sprocket Rocket to take it on against Stranger Danger. Now Furious George pushing. Still stranger danger and finally able to break loose. That was some. I think Furious George got a little chip on his shoulder there after being knocked down and really made a great play to get past stranger danger. Oh, a spin move, 360 on the outside and winds up on a far turn. Meanwhile, breaking loose looks like not Lisa wearing the sports traditional, that's Poetic Justice, rather. Sorry, you get these traditional sports numbers like number 925. It's kind of a derby thing. We don't have any 4-digit numbers tonight. We have had that. We've had them in the thousands.
1848, I believe, is Carl Sparks' number.
1848. That was kind of a weird year politically, too. On the outside, T-Pain gets knocked out by Tina Ouija. Tina Ouija joined us last time in the booth. Is this a booth or a table here? Down here in turn number 1?
It's a booth if we want it to be a booth.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come. Here it is. T-Pain. I like the effort.
Yeah.
T-Pain taking on. Oh, talk about pain. What a hit from Sasha Thrash, sending T-Pain airborne and to the ground. That's got to hurt. And so T-Pain's got to go back and engage the pack again from where she started and dropped again. And that time, wrench.
It's going to leave a few of those bruises we were talking about.
Well, yeah, there's some blossoms waiting to happen. Meanwhile, Raging Eddie's going to break loose. T-Pain. T-Pain getting up groggy, and I don't know if she's ready to go to the neutral corner or not.
She did make her way through, though.
There you go. 35-11, 10:31 to go here in the first. And I wouldn't say, for a program that's playing an inter-squad with itself, the traditional game, I wouldn't say friendly rivals here. We've seen some real hitting tonight. And you can just ask T-Pain. They would tell you the truth. T-Pain down. Sasha Thrash, who delivered that big blow, is doing a great job with wrench, keeping T-Pain from breaking loose. But now T-Pain hasn't, calls it off. Enough is enough. Woo.
Yeah, that one's going to sting for a bit.
That is going to sting for a bit. So 38-15. Widowmakers actually outscored the Bettys 4-3 in that last. Grueling roller derby tonight. Not big score. 38-15. We've got a break in the action. What are you seeing so far?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of really strong individual effort. I'm seeing more people hitting the ground than I'm used to. A lot of the time you're looking for that tripod to really establish. And it seems like this time around, we've had a lot more of those one-on-one player having to step up and just knock the jammer out.
I agree 100% with you. It's almost like lurking behind the blockers. And it's just as that moment as the jammer thinks they're free, here comes the other blocker from, from being screened to lower the boom. And that's what we've seen so far.
It feels like more people have hit the ground tonight than I'm used to.
I know. I think I'm going to be sore after this one. Now, the future Mrs. Wicked, the paint along the side of the face. What is the significance of that?
Oh, well, she just tries to put on a different face makeup for every bout. I particularly like this one, the 3 slashes, like she has a claw mark there. And once again,
are you asked an opinion on any of this?
Oh, she will occasionally come out and say, "How does it look?" And I generally get, yep, that looks good. This is one of my favorites, though.
There you go. Not Lisa in the mermaid leggings. breaking loose for the Betties. And it's Cherry Bomber pushing ahead for Widowmakers, but a great job. This is a great example of the triad. It's Braun, Luke Picard. It's Sasha Thrash. And a person who I think has played a wonderful game to this point, Sprocket Rocket. Sprocket Rocket, I've seen Sprocket Rocket be both a jammer and tonight a blocker, but very effective.
Yeah.
Called off is the jam. We're through 11 jams, 42-15. All of a sudden, the North Betty Jetties starting to get some distance. Now, this is an interesting lineup here because I see Cloverkill for what a very rare time as a jammer.
Pivot.
In fact, they're going to be the pivot, so they have a head cover, which can, of course, be passed. And a breaking loose. That's Furious George as a blocker, too. Not a position that they're usually at. And then breaking loose is Poetic Justice, but called out, and Poetic Justice is going to get sent to have to go back and engage. Poetic Justice thinking that maybe there was a penalty against them. It's Tina Ouija on the break, and we have a stop in the action as the jam was called off. No points scored in that one. There was some confusion by Poetic Justice as they'd been called for a penalty or not. So you're never asked to, like a creative, you're just giving the thumbs up or down as opposed to creative consult.
I will say today I got to put the makeup on the lizard tattoo.
Wow. Whoa.
I think maybe she was a little bit sore, didn't want to reach all the way down there. So she let me put the makeup on the lizard
We don't want to
tattoo.
get too personal here. Man. So 42-15, 7:49 to go. The Betties going ahead and having a couple of big runs that have made a difference. Seeing some players really moved around, wondering how things will line up for the second game as well. So very interesting. Using the scrimmages exactly as they should to let people go ahead and try out some new positions and see how they might work out. But so seeing some people where we're not used to seeing them.
I was wondering if maybe jammers like Furious George might be blocking to stay warm but not get too tired.
Oh, this is much better. Chakra Punch breaking loose. Great footwork along the outside. And that's a player that really needs to break loose. A tough night in February, and it would be great to see them have a big night tonight. They're running into the Betty Triad, which is down here in the bottom of turn one. Pushing. How about Stranger Danger doing some job for the Widowmakers, trying to clear out with Sasha Thrash on the outside. More players falling down here in turn one. Jammers gummed up, and now calling off the jam is going to be Chakra Punch. Never really got loose.
I always love when you see one of the blockers go in and do a little bit of offense, and we got to see just a little bit of it there.
(44-17). Each team got a couple of points that time. Looks like Cherry Bomber for the Widowmakers. I cannot see who is the Betty Jammer. Looks like Cloverkill. Cloverkill and Cherry Bomber is a great matchup.
That's a classic.
Cloverkill, wow, taking on two Widowmakers and pushing them down. Great job right now here for the Widowmakers by number 365, Sugar Rush, but eventually Cloverkill is able to get loose and is ahead on the jam. It's Cherry Bomber trying to catch up from behind, but both jammers are loose right now. Cloverkill weaving and now taking on Widowmaker defense in turn four and calling off the jam. There was also a big hit along the outside just after turn number 2. Shreddy Mercury going ahead and stopping Cherry Bomber. .48.17 with 5:36 to go.
Looks like Furious George is back to jamming again.
And a great job by the Widowmaker Triad. Actually, all 4 of them are there.
Yeah.
So the blocker's doing a wonderful job. I'll tell you, who's played really well is Stranger Danger. And knocked out by Bjorn Wicked. There you go. There you go.
She loves when she gets to swing around and knock them out like that.
Oh, got the great, almost the pendulum hip swing. Oh, knocked out Stranger Danger. Takes down Furious George. Welcome to the big leagues. That was quite a hit. Stranger Danger and Braun-Luc Picard holding up Poetic Justice, just wearing them out. Great job by them. Just the 2 of them right here down in turn 1. And finally, Furious George breaks loose. Meanwhile, trying to work the... There you go. Bjorn Wicked has been past the undergarment. No, the... what is it called?
The head
Head
topping.
cover, for God's sake, not
go.
the undergarment. Let's get that straight. And Bjorn Wicked gone from pivot to jammer, and the jam has been called off. All of that action, all of that hitting, and it winds up being a 2-1 jam. My goodness, 3:52 to go. The head cover.
They're certainly working a lot for those points.
Yeah, very much so. 50-18. The Betties have done a great job defensively, and they get their blockers up front. Meanwhile, it's not Lisa getting pushed around by the Widowmakers, and now down on the ground. It's Chakra Punch also being held up.
Some very good defense tonight.
Great defense. In fact, they're holding them up so much I can get in the underwriting. Want to thank the Speakeasy Bar, a New Orleans-inspired custom-built bar, seasonal craft. Chakra Punch breaks loose. Seasonal craft cocktails, local fresh ingredients, live jazz, blues, music, and more. Located at 411 Opera Alley. And now, after the head cover is passed, that's going to be Sasha Thrash going ahead and becoming the jammer. The Rennie Public Law Group, providing legal services to public agencies throughout California, practicing public law and public interest. Find out more at renniepubliclawgroup.com. Broadcast of Humboldt Roller Derby home games supported by A to Z Eye Care, dedicated to providing the community with quality vision care through education, technology, and excellent service. You ever get your eyes checked?
You know what? You know I ought to. It's been a while.
Yeah. Some of the things you've said tonight make me wonder. No. Anyway, it's an incredible experience to have that happen. 50-22. The technology now is amazing. Okay, here we go. 50-22 with 1:56 to go. And a great move. Cherry Bomber. Wow. Cherry Bomber gets ahead of steam and starts pushing. They are such an impressive jammer. Pushing on Stranger Danger. Great matchup here. Cloverkill coming down and can't cut her off. And Cherry Bomber is on the loose. The Widowmakers need a run here before the end of the half. Quickly organizing are the Betties, pushing out Cherry Bomber, and now the jam is called off so emphatically, in fact, that while Cherry Bomber was calling off the jam, she actually made contact with Tasmanian Devil, the referee. 50-24, 1:11 to go and counting. Jam number 17 on the night. Betty's kind of a different style than the Widowmakers. They'll hang a couple of blockers back and then slowly creep them up so they have some momentum before they take on the Jammers. Got a new jammer in for the Widowmakers. Hard to see who that is. It's Sasha Thrash for the Betty. No, not Lisa for the Bettys.
Looks like banana slam cake for the Widowmakers.
Banana Slam Cake. First time that name's been called.
I do love that name.
Yeah?
She goes by Nanners.
Nanners. Wearing number 512. Banana Slam Cake wearing 512. That just rolls right off the tongue. Down to the final 10 seconds here in the half. And that's not true. Yes, we are. We have reached intermission. 51-24 in favor of the North Jetty Betties over the Widowmakers in the annual inter-squad scrimmage here. A festive start to this doubleheader evening here at Franceschi Hall. I'm here with the Merchant of Menace. Is there anything Shakespearean in Bjorn Wicked?
I don't think there's anything Shakespearean there.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. So we're here at the intermission, and we're going to send it back to the station for the community calendar, and we'll be back for the second half of this bout. Once again, halftime.
Welcome to the KZZH Community Calendar for the week starting Friday, March 21st, 2025. On Friday, March 21st, got game? Come to the Gene Lucas Community Center game night from 4 to 8 p.m. at 3000 Newburgh Avenue in Fortuna. This is a free game night for ages 16 and older or younger with an accompanying adult. There will be board games and card games. Check in with volunteer Matt Manzano upon arrival. Email layla@glccenter.org to find out more. Also on Friday, it's March Skate Nights from 6:30 to 9 p.m. at the Eureka Municipal Auditorium at 1120 F Street. This is a first-come, first-served event with a maximum of 75 skaters at one time. No pre-registration is needed. March 28th will be Adult Night. Email cjungers@eurekaca.gov or call 707-441-4248 to find out more. On Saturday, March 22nd, get ready for a rumble in the Redwoods as your hometown Humboldt Roller Derby team takes on Bay Area Roller Derby. You can catch all the heart-stopping action at Redwood Acres starting at 6 p.m. And if you can't make it out to Franceschi Hall, Access Humboldt has got you covered. You can listen to live descriptions of the game here on KZZH 96.7 or stream it at kzzh.accesshumboldt.net. Or you can even watch the action with our newly expanded video stream coverage at youtube.com/@accesshumboldt/streams. Also on Saturday, you can join the Volunteer Ivy Removal Day from 12 to 4 p.m., starting at the Humboldt County Building Maintenance, 901 2nd Street in Eureka, where you can help remove invasive ivy in Old Town. Drop in anytime between noon and 4 p.m. Tools and safety equipment will be provided, but it helps if you can bring your own. It's suggested you wear thick clothing and bring water. Email hatwood@eurekaca.gov or call 707-441-4218 to find out more. Finally, on Saturday, come to the BLC Employee Craft Fair from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Blue Lake Casino and Hotel, 777 Casino Way in Blue Lake. Local artists and vendors showcase their handmade Humboldt creations, from hemp bath and body products to jewelry, ceramics, woodworking, tumblers, rhinestone designs, magnets, and more. You will find the fair in the Kinetic Room by the Redwood Gallery. On Sunday, March 23rd, you are invited to Vatican II starting at 4 p.m. at the Morris Graves Museum of Art, 636 F Street in Eureka. Join Eric Sikora for an insightful presentation revisiting the pivotal Second Vatican Council and its transformative impact on the concept of laity in the Catholic Church. Find out more at humboldtarts.org. Also on Sunday, check out the Clothing Swap in Fortuna from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Gene Lucas Community Center, 3000 Newburgh Avenue in Fortuna. clean out your closets and find some new clothes, please bring a maximum of 1 bag or box of clothes or just an empty bag. Take as much as you like. No kids' clothing, socks, undergarments, dirty or damaged items, please. Email layla@glccenter.org for more information. On Monday, March 24th, find out what happened during the magnitude 7.0 Mendocino Fault earthquake on December 5th, 2025, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Natural History Museum of Cal Poly Humboldt, 1242 G Street in Arcata. This will be Tsunami Awareness Month talk with local expert Lori Dengler, Professor Emeritus of the Department of Geology at Cal Poly Humboldt. Donations are welcome. Email natmus@humboldt.edu or call 707-826-4480 to find out more. On Tuesday, March 25th, it's Nature Story Time from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Humboldt Coastal Nature Center, 220 Stamps Lane in Manila. This event is geared for ages 3 to 6. Each week, there is a short story, movement activity, and art project for children and their caregivers to enjoy. Upcoming topics include owls, pollinators, and dune plants, and the Nature Story Time on April 22nd will be bilingual in both English and Spanish. Call 707-444-1397 to find out more. Also on Tuesday, it's the monthly online Humboldt Healthcare for All meeting from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Humboldt Healthcare for All and Physicians for a National Health Program will meet by Zoom. Email healthcareforallhumboldt@gmail.com for the meeting link. On Wednesday, March 26th, don't miss movie nights at the Eureka Library, a Women's History Month series from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at the Eureka Library, 1313 3rd Street. This is a free film series highlighting the resilience, creativity, and strength of women in different walks of life. There will be free popcorn and sparkling water. Go to humlib.org for more information. Also on Wednesday, come to the Death Cafe Humboldt with Gina Belton from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the McKinleyville Senior Center, 620 Pickett Road. This is a group-directed discussion of death with no agenda, objectives, or themes. It is a discussion group rather than a grief support or counseling session. Email kanderson@95519@yahoo.com or call 707-839-3917 to find out more. On Thursday, March 27th, the Careers in Health speaker series continues from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Cal Poly Humboldt, 1 Harp Street in Arcata. Experts will share professional experiences and career paths with local high school and college students to inspire a new generation of health professionals on the North Coast. Email jdo1@humboldt.edu for the exact location, or for the Zoom link, call 707-826-4274. Also on Thursday, there will be a Young Professionals Mixer from 6 to 8 p.m. at Havana in Arcata, 787th Street. Make connections, get a professional headshot, and promote your business, art, or passion. There will be free food, community, and raffle prizes. Email gloria@arcatachamber.com to find out more. To submit your nonprofit event to the KZZH community calendar, go to kzzh.accesshumboldt.net and follow the community calendar link located near the top of the page. Your event information will be read twice a day, at noon and 5 p.m. on weekdays and at noon on the weekends. Your event information will also be shared on Access Humboldt TV's bulletin board. Access Humboldt, local voices through community media. For KZZH in Eureka, I'm Isabella Vanderheiden.
All right. This is Nate Dogg here while we give Paul and Menace a break from their awesome commentating on this occasion of the Humboldt Roller Derby, live right here on Access Humboldt and KZZH 96.7 FM. We are in intermission of the first bout. The score currently is North Jetty Betties 51 and the Widowmakers 24. And if you just tuned in, yes, this is a home team bout. A couple of our home teams here at Humboldt Roller Derby battling each other. And for the second game, we're going to be battling the San Francisco Bay Rollers. The Bay Area Rollers. That's what it is. Bad. Bay Area Derby. That's coming up next on the second game. The second bout, as we call it here in Roller Derby. If you are seeking more information on Access Humboldt, your community media center, you can go to our website, accesshumboldt.net. Accesshumboldt.net. And you can always come and visit our studios, take a tour, learn how we make media. The Access Humboldt Media Center is on the campus of College of the Redwoods. We're in the old administration building. So if you ever went to College of the Redwoods back in the day and you went to the building to register, that is now Access Humboldt. And you will find me there to greet you when you walk in the door. Okay, we are again here at Franceschi Hall. And I am talking to you here live. We have about a minute and 45 seconds left till the second half of this first game. I do want to give a shout out to my sister. Hey there, Mystique Fletcher and kids, Riley, Bailey, and Finland. Love you guys. All right. This is the Humboldt Roller Derby. And it looks like our fabulous announcers are making their way back here to the table. I'm going to hand it off to them in just a second. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Access Humboldt and KZZH 96.7 FM. And if you like what you're hearing and watching, I encourage you to donate to Access Humboldt. We need your help. It takes a community to run the Community Media Center. So we are always in need of funding. Support your local community media center, Access Humboldt. You can go to accesshumboldt.net, and right there on the homepage, you'll see a link to donate. And I think that'll take you to a PayPal. All right. Giving it up back to Paul and Menace. Keep it here.
Got one of our underwriters here. We got some time to kill. You want me to interview him? Who is it? I got one of my underwriters here. We got some time to kill. Well, we're about to start again. Oh, okay. Wait.
But later, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back to Franceschi Hall. Enjoying the atmosphere at the break. 51-24 in favor of the North Betty Jetties. The North Jetty Betty. You know, I stuck there for a second that you're going to do it right, and no.
It's always a trap.
It is a trap. Widowmakers need a run to start this half off, and it is a scrum here. It looks more like rugby. Breaking to the outside, and it's Sprocket Rocket. Wow, that was impressive for the Betties. Breaking loose, coming around in the first corner and scoring some points and tiptoeing along the line.
Wow.
With a 360. Sprocket Rocket, an impressive start. Just what the Widowmakers did not need, a Betty run. And, oh, how does they do it? And the referees are going to say that Sprocket Rocket was out and has to go back and start again. Stranger danger with Sprocket Rocket, taking Sprocket Rocket down in turn number 2. Wow. Oh! And then it's Bjorn Wicked. Wow. And I'll bet you take the trash out when asked.
That's very true. I do.
Oh, what a hit over there in turn number 3. My goodness.
Yeah, she'll be talking about that one later.
Yeah. That, I don't know if I'd celebrate the bruises, but I'd celebrate the hits. An 8-0 run, 8-0 run for the North Jetty Betties, 59-24. Looks like Poetic Justice and Raging Eddie. I like that, Raging Eddie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
The juxtaposition of that one. Raging Eddie is going to have to go to the box, meaning power jam for the Widowmakers, which is exactly what the Widowmakers need.
It
They need
really
a power
is.
jam, and they need to break loose with some points. Poetic Justice going to hit the last part of the defense, Jess Destroyer, and going to break loose, but Braun-Luc Picard on the angle. It's exactly what you were talking about in the first half. It's as if there's a person lurking that comes in at an angle and makes that last hit. I'll tell you what, that's been the change in the defensive look tonight. And now, Sasha Thresh into Poetic Justice. And Raging Eddie is back on the rink.
It does feel like the hard hits have been the story of the game this far.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It's like, it's like one of the worst traffic pileups you could see. There's hitting, there's defense. Unbelievable playing right here.
It's kind of the opposite of what you want for the one that's our own 2 squads. We want to get into the second game really healthy.
Well, or people are vying to get on those spots for that team. And if that's the case, this is what it's like. Not Lisa taking on Stranger Danger, and it's Cloverkill and Not Lisa. And both jammers, some jammer action out front. Here comes Cloverkill. Or Cherry Bomber calling the blocking pattern, but then getting pushed out and calling off the jam. I like it when the jammer on jammer stuff, when they're both out in front. And sometimes you see them at a high speed because they're breaking loose. They're out in front of the pack. Sometimes you see them really go for each other, and that's a good look in this sport.
It's rare, but it really is a treat.
It is rare, but it's a treat. 21-28 to go, 59-24 North Jetty Betties. It's a low-scoring bout.
That's very true.
Yeah, not even 100 points between them here in the second half, but there's been some good defense and really kind of a new defense that we've looked at with these angles that are being taken.
And honestly, a really good defense is what they were needing after the last bout. So I'm hoping maybe they've learned a few things.
Well, I mean, you get beat by 300. Ouch. You got to figure something out. It's back to the drawing board. So here we go. Referee's trying to figure something out.
I love when they point to their shoulders.
Yeah, what is that?
It's showing how buff they are. He's saying, I've been working out.
Charles Atlas, referee position. Referees conferring. Looks like Cloverkill for the Betties. I don't see who it is for the Widowmakers. And that's Cherry Bomber, and they're in the box. So power jam for the Betties. No wonder I didn't see the Widowmaker jammer.
Oh, this is exactly what the Widowmakers don't need right now.
Don't need, and no, they don't need Cloverkill on the loose, which is exactly what's happening. Rounding turn 4 and heading for the pack. Some collisions to happen here, and there they are. Held up by Peaches and Scream, and the rest of the Widowmakers. Now Cherry Bomber back onto the action. Destroyer takes care of her. They're going to knock her out in turn 1. Still fighting and breaking loose themselves. Meanwhile, Cloverkill's going to have to go back and re-engage the pack. And here comes Cherry Bomber. They're going to call off it. You could see that one coming a mile away, especially when you're ahead.
Yep.
Why not? You're ahead. You don't want Cherry Bomber to come in with a full head of steam and try to break loose and maybe get a run going while you're being knocked out. So using the position of being that head jammer, calling off the jam.
Yeah.
Wise.
At this point, if the Betties can get a couple of points and call it off repeatedly, they're just going to make sure the Widowmakers never have a chance to get back.
There you go. With 20 minutes to go in the half, trying to take the air out of the ball, so to speak. It's Furious George and Shaka Punch.
Is that a Tom Brady thing, taking the air out of the ball?
Nah. You know, that's a sports phrase that was always for basketball. Furious George on the outside. Oh! Good hit there by Torkin Beans.
Oh, George
Shaka
looks
Punch.
like George might be hurt.
George is down and calling off, and I think we do have an injury, unfortunately. And
both teams are gathering around.
both teams gathering around. This is not a good moment here at 19:21 to go in the second half.
I do believe they're blocking the view from the crowd.
Blocking the view from the crowd. As if there's something to be examined, or also not to let someone have the privacy that they need, if indeed in a bit of pain. We're going to give the station ID. You're listening to KZZH Radio 96.7, and you're watching on Access Humboldt here in Franceschi Hall. Doubleheader Saturday night. The first game of this doubleheader. We're seeing the inter-squad game between the North Betty Jetties and the Widowmakers. 66-25. We have an injury timeout. Want to say that the broadcast is underwritten by the Speakeasy Bar, a New Orleans-inspired custom-built bar. Seasonal craft cocktails, local fresh ingredients, live jazz, blues music, and more. Located at 411 Opera Alley. Good news here. Furious George up under their own strength, and we'll set up for the next jam. 66-25. No, I think where I always saw the take the air out of the ball, years ago when college basketball didn't have a shot clock, they'd run that four corners offense, and it was often the announcers would say they're going to take the air out of the ball. And that's where I first heard that, but that's, 40 years ago. Raging Eddie going to be called for a foul and sent to the box, meaning Power Jam Widowmakers.
Here we go.
Here we go. The opportunity. Poetic Justice slamming ahead, but slamming into Destroyers. Had a great game, and Destroyer takes her down. Aptly named Destroyer. And not only taking down the Widowmaker Jammer, sending to the penalty box. So now you're talking about a tremendous advantage of 3-on-5, and these three for the Betties.
Wow.
Doing a great job holding up Poetic Justice. That's Braun, Luke for Picard, Sasha Thrash, and Torkin Beans. And now Raging Eddie back just in time to try to score some points for the Betties, and gets loose. And now Poetic Justice having a rough night as a jammer, just not being able to get loose. And no better example of that than that 5-on-3 matchup. Raging Eddie knocked out by
There we go. Poetic Justice broke loose.
Poetic Justice finally getting a chance, and Reggie Nettie breaking loose as well. Griselda has played some good defense here in this sequence. Griselda the only player in a skirt in today's game. Raging Eddie.
Wow.
Flying through the pack, sliding, and picking up some points, 70-29 in favor of the Betties, and the jam is going to be called off.
I do love when they can slide and pop right back up.
Well, knee pads help a lot for that on this surface. Remember, these aren't banked tracks. Maybe you watched roller derby as a kid. Did you watch roller derby as a kid?
I actually missed it when I was a kid. I just saw.
You're a lot younger than I am.
I saw little bits of it on TV shows.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up here locally.
Oh, here locally?
Yeah, I was McKinleyville.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You speak very well for McKinleyville.
Harsh but apt.
No, just a joke. Send your emails to the board on that one.
I'll have to answer them.
Not Lisa. Pushing ahead with Stranger Danger. Great action. Stranger Danger has played very well in open space. And finally, Not Lisa breaking through. Meanwhile, pushing, it's Cherry Bomber, but great defense by the Betties tonight. The Betties have played a fabulous game. And Not Lisa still going point-wise and trying to pass the
I believe she just got called for cutting the track.
And sent to the penalty box. So Not Lisa, no wonder such a good run there.
And it was Bjorn Wickett who knocked her out, I'll point out.
I get it. Fantastic. Bjorn Wickett has done some great slides across, what do we say? Some of those diagonal hits tonight Bjorn Wickett has excelled at.
She's real good at swinging around and getting them with the hips and knocking them out.
Bjorn Wickett has played well like that tonight. Now Bjorn Wickett has a head cover. She does it all.
There she goes.
There she goes. She's a blocker, a pivot, and a jammer. And meeting that defensive formation of the Betties over there in turn 4. Meanwhile, Not Lisa back on the track and pushing ahead. And once again, both teams in defensive quadrilateral, so to speak, over there in the far corner, turn number 4. And
power jam for the Betties.
Power jam in favor of the Betties as Bjorn Wickett is sent to the penalty box. And finally, the jam is called off. 14:22 to go, 73-33 in favor of the Betties. Game really closer than the score indicates.
I really agree with that.
A couple of big runs in the first half kind of gave the space that we see now, but otherwise, some real grinded out, hard-hitting roller derby. Anyway, in the old days, the roller derby I watched, I grew up in the Los Angeles area, moved to the Bay Area, and then up here to go to college. The bank tracks, the LA T-Birds and the Bay Bombers and,
Yeah.
There was a lot more theatrics in that level. This is a lot more, well, not a lot more. This is a totally sincere athletic event as opposed to those were kind of rigged, I think.
Yeah, I will say that I really love when players have props and things like that. But I know that's one thing that some players have been trying to shy away from because they want this to be seen as the real athletic event that it is instead of just spectacle.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, not for a sanctioned bout, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, 14-15, 77-35. We're in the second half. Tonight's opening game. The Root Force will welcome another team from the Bay Area in game 2 tonight. Breaking loose is Cloverkill for the Betties. Meanwhile, nothing to do but get ready for defense. Boy, Destroyer throwing around some serious hitting there, just getting ready for Cloverkill to come back around. Destroyer doing the job, clearing out the blockers for the Widowmakers, and it's Cloverkill that's going to be on a scoring run. Bjorn Wickett back off the penalty seat and into the game, into the scrum, onto the rink, and pushing away at the triad of the Betties.
There she goes.
And finally breaking loose out. Nope, they're going to say stepped out.
Oh.
And going to have to go to the penalty box for that. You know, when your last name is Wicked, you're going to wind up getting, you know.
Called for a penalty or two.
Yes, I think that's some profiling by the referees. So Cloverkill cutting to the inside and a good job, and then knocked out. Knocked out there by 365 Sugar Rush. 81-35. Knockdown is Hellisbad for the Widowmakers. Time is being called. We're kind of trying to figure out what's going on. 85-35. That was an 8-0 run by the North Jetty Betties. So up close for the start of the jam, and breaking to the outside immediately was Raging Eddie, now cutting to the inside, now back to the outside, inside, outside, trying to cut through and find a lane. It's Stranger Danger, who's been the last line of defense for the Widowmakers quite a lot tonight, and they both go down. They both go down in turn two.
Danger just loves to be that last line.
Well, you know, there you go. And it's Braun-Luc Picard throwing a hip at Chakra Punch. And Punch has been knocked out and is going to have to go to the penalty box. Power Jam and Raging Eddie on the loose. So, the worst case scenario for the Widowmakers, getting a little late for them. Raging Eddie with blockers in front. And the scrum starts halfway between turns 3 and 4. And Raging Eddie knocked down by Stranger Danger. Danger has been the hitter. And even when Raging Eddie's got to go back and re-engage the pack from where they went out, it's Stranger Danger that meets them first.
Feels like Danger is everywhere tonight.
It is. Lurking around every corner.
I think we might be seeing tonight's MVP for the Widowmakers.
I agree. Stranger Danger has played very well. Raging Eddie's going to call it off. But, you know, it's tough. Can you have a great night defensively when you're almost down by 60 points?
That's a fair question. I think they can have a great night defensively. They're just having a rough time breaking through on offense.
Right. Because the defense has done the job to keep it. There's so much pressure on a defense in any sport that you watch or follow when the offense isn't scoring.
It's very true.
So 93-39, little palindrome going on here. And it is not Lisa. I like the mermaid leggings. I think that looks good with the North Jetty Betties.
Definitely add a little style. I'm into it.
I like it. I like it. And not Lisa breaking through for a second time. Meanwhile, Cherry Bomber cuts to the inside. That's a nice move, and breaks loose themselves. So both jammers on the loose, and there's an engagement there that occurred. Rotten to liqueur in there, hitting hard, and the jam's going to be called off. I would like to see this feistiness transfer to game 2 tonight.
I think that's part of the goal. Just don't be exhausted by the time we get to game 2, but stay feisty.
There you go.
Let this one fire you up for the second game.
There's been some tremendous play along the. You know, if you talk about defense, if you talk about picking up people, if you talk about hitting, they've all occurred in this game. And Tina Ouija spinning, turning, breaking loose. That's a banana slam in there.
Banana
And
slam cake.
what is that again? Say it.
Banana slam cake.
Banana slam cake and stranger danger. Holding up Tina Ouija. Tina Ouija, who was here on the broadcast last time. Meanwhile, Poetic Justice, and they're trying Poetic Justice out. Poetic Justice had a tough night. Great effort, taking on these blockers as they are. Now looking to pass the head cover, and going to pass that head cover to Sugar Rush, and Sugar Rush goes from pivot to jammer. Meanwhile, Tina Ouija cuts through and gets past Stranger Danger for some points. Going to call off the jam. A great move to the inside.
Oh, Just Stroyer did some really good offense on that one. I do love when the blockers have a moment to just get in there and help break their jammer free.
I agree with that.
Especially when you have a blocker who is as strong as Just Stroyer. Like,
Yeah.
she can go toe-to-toe with anybody. But when she gets a chance to go in on offense, that's a real benefit.
Absolutely. And I think, if we look back to last month's match, that's what the team from the Bay Area really did well. I think the blockers transitioned from
agreed.
defense to offense incredibly well.
Well, looks like we're finally in triple digits.
104.39 with 7:49 to go. There's a timeout on the rink. This California Dreaming?
I think it is. It's a very jazzy California
I like
Dreaming.
it. There it is, 104.39. This afternoon, finally, we got a little bit of the California Dream as a little sun broke out finally. I felt like Charlton Heston in the Omega Man walking outside.
I didn't know what it was. The sun showed up. I'm like, oh, no, the aliens are coming. What is this?
Exactly. I thought it was in like a lion, out like a lamb. What is going on here in March? (104.39). We've 7:49 to go here in the preliminary bout, so to speak. Been some great hitting in this game. Outstanding hitting for teams that are playing the inter squad. My goodness gracious.
Incredible individual effort. Absolutely.
Great effort. And that is one thing, I think, no matter what the score, one thing, if you come out and see Humboldt Roller Derby, there is some great individual effort.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
Some outstanding, a lot of these folks, I don't know what all the sports backgrounds are of all the players on the team. Some of them, like I interviewed, just for an example, Furious George, they played some soccer or whatever it is. I mean, nobody ever did anything like this.
Right, absolutely.
And so, people are hitting and also hitting up while you're on skates and staying above ground,
Well, I know when Wicked first got into this, she didn't even really know how to skate. She just decided to give it a try and went into training camp.
Well, they must do a heck of a job in the training camps.
Oh, they really do. Considering taking the first levels of the camp myself, you're able to take it. It's all genders for the first couple of levels. So,
really?
Yeah, that's how they get
No way.
That's how they get their referees on skates. A lot of them, they go through the training camp. Sometimes you'll see guys out there as referees. They go through the early levels, and then they can't go through the last level to get to join the team. But they can learn the game really well, and then they can come in and be refs.
Wow. That's interesting.
But I think I'm a little too fragile. I every time I get up on the skates and try skating around, I tweak something in my knee.
Oh, that's amazing. So, do you have information? When is the next set of training camp?
Well, if I come on the air and I mention something like that, I should absolutely have all the information handy. If I could go back 20 minutes and tell past me that, I'd have something for you.
There you go. Well, that's really interesting information.
I do think they have a training camp coming up in the fall, I want to say, is when their next training camp starts. But I don't know for sure.
There you go. Well, maybe next meeting you can bring that up.
There we
Be
go.
an agenda item.
There we go. I like it.
So here we go. We're going to have a referees coming over talking to the Merchant of Venice. Given his status as a board member, he has that kind of importance.
Okay, sounds good.
So what was going on? I didn't know you were that big.
Oh, I didn't know either. Well, apparently the review was that the green team said that the other team had pushed someone on purpose into the blockers, which was apparently an illegal move. However, after review, they decided that there wasn't enough evidence for that, so they did not win the review.
Wow. The tush push has made it to roller derby. Chakra punch on the inside and breaking loose. Heading around turn 3 here and going to engage the pack at the jam line. And not getting past the jam line at all right now has been Raging Eddie. And Chakra punch is going to score some points. Oh, tiptoeing.
Oh.
Knocked out by Sasha Thrash. And now Chakra punch does break loose after going back. But Raging Eddie right on their tail. Jammer on jammer as we go around turn 4. Chakra punch can't call it off. Got to try to score some points because the Widowmakers are behind and now calling it off. Oh, I think I ought to let that go.
Yeah, I don't think 2 or 3 points are going to do much.
No,
for
when
them at
you're
this point.
61 down, I say go for it, man. 104.43. Let's see if the points get added. Waiting. Nothing yet.
It is a thing of beauty, though, when your side can get a few points and cut the other team off right before they're about to get one.
Oh, the ultimate dignity. The kind of in-your-faceism that the sport does have. Now, pushing someone on purpose, that seems to be what the sport is, for God's sake.
Well, they're very specific on zones of contact and where you are and aren't allowed to push.
Boundaries. Yeah,
I'll
great.
admit, I don't even know all of them myself, and I'm on the board. So
Roller derby boundaries.
thankfully, they don't give me one of the little whistles, so
There
I
you
don't
go.
have to know
You
it.
haven't gone through the... So here we go. Breaking loose. There we go. Tina Ouija, also known as Latina Turner, on the loose for the Betties. Ooh, hit across by a couple of times by Sugar Rush. And that is Banana Slam Cakes trying for the Widowmakers as a jammer. Doing a great job up against a
that's some
very tough
strength.
triad and now pushed out. That triad includes Furious George and Sprocket Rocket, who I think has been very impressive tonight, too.
Great to see George back out there.
Yes, earlier in the half, going down for an injury, but Furious George okay, and coming back as at the pivot right now, wearing the pivot head cover. Banana Slam Cakes now engaging with the triad and slipping by, and now knocked out by Sprocket Rocket. Tina Ouija pushing on the turn 3. And the
there's
pivot has
Bjorn
been
Wicked.
passed to Bjorn Wicked, and we've got whistles. We've got whistles and referees waving hands, and there's hands in the air. There's hands being waved. What is going on? North Jetty Betties are going to wind up with 4 points in all of that. 108-43. This game has become more of a rout here in the second half. So it's not Lisa again, who's had a very good bout. Not Lisa's had a
Absolutely.
very good bout. Scored quite a few points. And is going to get loose. It's Cherry Bomber that is for the Widowmakers. And breaking loose herself. And, the Widowmakers can't call this off. Got to go ahead and try to get some points.
Oh, there was Stranger again as the last line of defense.
Meanwhile, calling off the jam is Not Lisa. 112.43. 3:35 and counting here in game one. We'll see another team from the Bay Area. Great. Coming up to play in game two. It will not be a sanctioned bout, and we will see mixture of A and B players in that game. Raging Eddie, wow, great job, outstanding job, going along the inside and now called out and onto the penalty area. So power jam for the Widowmakers. And who is the jammer for the Widowmakers? Being held up is Poetic Justice, who's holding. Poetic Justice is passing the head cover to Bjorn Wicked. Bjorn Wicked is going to be called also and headed to the penalty box. So now, because Bjorn Wicked heads to the penalty box, it means that Raging Eddie is allowed to come back on, or we'd have a game with no jammers. And what would that be?
Just be us talking and entertaining, folks.
That's right. It'd be the null set. The Mayan concept of zero. And now, can you believe it?
Oh, no.
Raging Eddie to the penalty box. And luckily for you, for us, and for you at home, Bjorn Wicked is back out there. My goodness. Bjorn Wicked sizing up the situation. Going to first meet Tina Ouija on the outside, and now you got Destroyer. Enough said there. Destroyer's had a great bout, along with Sprocket Rocket, who I also think has been excellent. And Bjorn Wicked is held up there, short of the fourth turn. Meanwhile, back out of the penalty box and onto the rake. Raging Eddie,
and she's free already.
Like Houdini. How did they escape? And on the inside, it takes a little punishment to Torque and Beans. Oh. And we're going to have the jam called off with 1:16. It's 1:16:43, 1:08 to go in the half.
I'd say the question at this point is what it's going to be like mixing these two teams going into the next bout when half of the team feels triumphant and ready to go and has just had huge success, and the other half is currently sitting at 47. I hope they really pull together.
Well, you're going to have triumphant and hungry. Come on, man.
I like that.
Be positive.
Triumphant and hungry. That's a great combination.
There you go.
This is why you do this job.
That's right. I'm a professional. I actually got a radio minor when I was at Humboldt State.
A radio minor?
Yes, they had it back then at KHSU. My advisor, Judy Sims, all those years ago. And who knew? Who knew? It would wind up all these years later doing roller derby.
Well, there we go. It all works out.
It all worked out. Putting 2 minutes back on the clock, and I don't know why. 1:16:47. Not Lisa and Chakra Punch. And Not Lisa want to move to the outside, breaking in the wide open. Wow, that was the quickest escape by a jammer yet this evening. And coming up on the following Braun Luke Picard knocked down. Here comes the defense. Banana Slam Cakes and Sugar Rush. And Not Lisa's going to escape. Looks like the head cover is going to be passed from Chakra Punch to Sugar Rush, and Not Lisa. Wow, Not Lisa is having an extraordinary run
Wow.
there. Going to call off the jam. You know, I mean, that's maneuvering through traffic.
Not Lisa has had a fantastic night.
I would say the player of the match for the Betties, I would go Not Lisa. And if I was a person, just because of the effort for the Widowmakers, I think Stranger Danger, although I think Bjorn Wickett could be in that conversation. Bjorn Wickett's had some high-profile events in this game.
Oh, she's doing a good job. But I will say, Stranger Danger has just gone toe-to-toe with some people and really done a good job.
And here is Raging. I think Raging Eddie is going to be a secret star of this season. Second time I've seen Raging Eddie, and so impressive in that opening game last month, and then looking good here in the classic traditional North Jetty Betty Widowmaker annual.
Oh,
Raging Eddie taken down by Torque and Beans. So this will be the last jam of the game. 124-48 has not been in question for a long time. Raging Eddie breaks loose, and then Raging Eddie looking at their side, they're saying, call this thing off. Come on. Instructions from the bench. Raging Eddie will pick up 4 points. It looks like the final of this one is going to be 128-48. A 60-point win for the North Jetty Betties, and they get bragging rights for this year.
a lot of great individual effort out there, I have to say.
I really think so, and I'm hoping that it carries over to the next event. While they're sorting things out, I want to thank our underwriters, Rennie Public Law Group, providing legal services to public agencies throughout California, practicing public law in the public interest. Find out more at renniepubliclawgroup.com. And A to Z Eye Care, dedicated to providing the community with quality vision care through education, technology, and excellent service. Find out more at A to Z eyecare.com. And, of course, the Speakeasy Bar, the New Orleans-inspired custom-built bar. Seasonal craft cocktails, fresh ingredients, live jazz, blues music, and more. Located at 411 Opera Alley in Eureka. So, 128 to 48. Are you going to stick around for the next one?
You know, after a game like that, I can't pass it up. I got to stick around.
Are you going to do it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Merchant of Venice is going to be back with us. And we're going to be second game between the SF's Rolling Dead and Humboldt Root Force. 128-48. So we're going to send it back to the station for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll have some interviews and get ready for game 2 of this Saturday night doubleheader from Franceschi Hall here on KZZH Radio and on Humboldt Access TV. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. Final score once again, North Jetty Betties 128, Widowmakers 48.
Welcome to the KZZH Community Calendar for the week starting Friday, March 21st, 2025. On Friday, March 21st, got game? Come to the Gene Lucas Community Center game night from 4 to 8 p.m. at 3000 Newburgh Avenue in Fortuna. This is a free game night for ages 16 and older or younger with an accompanying adult. There will be board games and card games. Check in with volunteer Matt Manzano upon arrival. Email Layla at glccenter.org to find out more. Also on Friday, it's March Skate Nights from 6:30 to 9 p.m. at the Eureka Municipal Auditorium at 1120 F Street. This is a first-come, first-served event with a maximum of 75 skaters at one time. No pre-registration is needed. March 28th will be Adult Night. Email cjungers@eurekaca.gov or call 707-441-4248 to find out more. On Saturday, March 22nd, get ready for a rumble in the Redwoods as your hometown Humboldt Roller Derby team takes on Bay Area Roller Derby. You can catch all the heart-stopping action at Redwood Acres starting at 6 p.m. And if you can't make it out to Franceschi Hall, Access Humboldt has got you covered. You can listen to live descriptions of the game here on KZZH 96.7 or stream it at kzzh.accesshumboldt.net. Or you can even watch the action with our newly expanded video stream coverage at youtube.com/@accesshumboldt/streams. Also on Saturday, you can join the Volunteer Ivy Removal Day from 12 to 4 p.m., starting at the Humboldt County Building Maintenance, 901 2nd Street in Eureka, where you can help remove invasive ivy in Old Town. Drop in anytime between noon and 4 p.m. Tools and safety equipment will be provided, but it helps if you can bring your own. It's suggested you wear thick clothing and bring water. Email hatwood@eurekaca.gov or call 707-441-4218 to find out more. Finally, on Saturday, come to the BLC Employee Craft Fair from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Blue Lake Casino and Hotel, 777 Casino Way in Blue Lake. Local artists and vendors showcase their handmade Humboldt creations, from hemp bath and body products to jewelry, ceramics, woodworking, tumblers, rhinestone designs, magnets, and more. You will find the fair in the Kinetic Room by the Redwood Gallery. On Sunday, March 23rd, you are invited to Vatican II starting at 4 p.m. at the Morris Graves Museum of Art, 636 F Street in Eureka. Join Eric Sikora for an insightful presentation revisiting the pivotal Second Vatican Council and its transformative impact on the concept of laity in the Catholic Church. Find out more at humboldtarts.org. Also on Sunday, check out the clothing swap in Fortuna from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Gene Lucas Community Center, 3000 Newburgh Avenue in Fortuna. Clean out your closets and find some new clothes. Please bring a maximum of one bag or box of clothes or just an empty bag. Take as much as you like. No kids' clothing, socks, undergarments, dirty or damaged items, please. Email layla@glccenter.org for more information. On Monday, March 24th, find out what happened during the magnitude 7.0 Mendocino Fault earthquake on December 5th, 2025, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Natural History Museum of Cal Poly Humboldt, 1242 G Street in Arcata. This will be Tsunami Awareness Month talk with local expert Lori Dengler, Professor Emeritus of the Department of Geology at Cal Poly Humboldt. Donations are welcome. Email natmus@humboldt.edu or call 707-826-4480 to find out more. On Tuesday, March 25th, it's Nature Story Time from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Humboldt Coastal Nature Center, 220 Stamps Lane in Manila. This event is geared for ages 3 to 6. Each week, there is a short story, movement activity, and art project for children and their caregivers to enjoy. Upcoming topics include owls, pollinators, and dune plants, and the Nature Story Time on April 22nd will be bilingual in both English and Spanish. Call 707-444-1397 to find out more. Also on Tuesday, it's the monthly online Humboldt Healthcare for All meeting from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Humboldt Healthcare for All and Physicians for a National Health Program will meet by Zoom. Email healthcareforallhumboldt@gmail.com for the meeting link. On Wednesday, March 26th, don't miss movie nights at the Eureka Library, a Women's History Month series from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at the Eureka Library, 1313 3rd Street. This is a free film series highlighting the resilience, creativity, and strength of women in different walks of life. There will be free popcorn and sparkling water. Go to humlib.org for more information. Also on Wednesday, come to the Death Cafe Humboldt with Gina Belton from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the McKinleyville Senior Center, 620 Pickett Road. This is a group-directed discussion of death with no agenda, objectives, or themes. It is a discussion group rather than a grief support or counseling session. Email kanderson@95519@yahoo.com or call 707-839-3917 to find out more. On Thursday, March 27th, the Careers in Health speaker series continues from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Cal Poly Humboldt, 1 Harp Street in Arcata. Experts will share professional experiences and career paths with local high school and college students to inspire a new generation of health professionals on the North Coast. Email jdo1@humboldt.edu for the exact location, or for the Zoom link, call 707-826-4274. Also on Thursday, there will be a Young Professionals mixer from 6 to 8 p.m. at Havana in Arcata, 787th Street. Make connections, get a professional headshot, and promote your business, art, or passion. There will be free food, community, and raffle prizes. Email gloria@arcadachamber.com to find out more. To submit your nonprofit event to the KZZH community calendar, go to kzzh.accesshumboldt.net and follow the community calendar link located near the top of the page. Your event information will be read twice a day, at noon and 5 p.m. on weekdays and at noon on the weekends. Your event information will also be shared on Access Humboldt TV's bulletin board. Access Humboldt, local voices through community media. For KZZH in Eureka, I'm Isabella Vanderheyden.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Franceschi Hall. I'm here with one of the founding partners of the Rennie Public Law Group, and that's important to us because they are good enough to be our underwriters. Rennie Public Law Group providing legal services in public agencies throughout California. And that's an interesting question to start with. This is Arthur Hartinger, actually an old high school buddy that I know as Tony, but I'll call him Arthur in his official.
Nobody knows me as Tony, except
nobody knows you as Arthur either. But anyway,
that's not true.
Not apparently, not on this broadcast. So anyway, practicing public law and public interest throughout California. You're actually located in the Bay Area, and yet have found it in your heart to underwrite a Humboldt Roller Derby team. How did that come about?
Well, I think, as you know, Paul, I mean, you're a very dear friend. And we, when I say we, my wife, Yumi, and I ended up building a house up in Humboldt County in West Haven. And you brought this sense of community to me, and it was really, I mean, not to be corny, but it's very special. One of the things I was just saying to Yumi is, and one of the things that we love about this event is that everyone's smiling, and it's coming from Oakland. I'm an Oaklander. You don't see everyone smiling all the time, but everyone is smiling at this event.
At Franceschi Hall, it's a big time on a Saturday night. So you love the scene that and the community created by the Humboldt Roller Derby.
Absolutely. It's very unique, and it relates closely to our firm's values. I mean, we're lawyers, so we have that to wear as our,
Nobody likes them till they need one.
Well, right. Lawyers aren't popular, but we represent public agencies, and we have a very keen interest in local politics, local activities. I mean, and let's face it, if you look to the federal government, that's not where you want to be these days. I mean, you want to see what's happening locally. And this is such a shining example of something that's happening very local, and people are exuberant. There's life, there's music, there's athleticism, there's community. It's just a fantastic place to be.
So your law firm does business all up and down the state and in many smaller communities like our own. As you've gone to those small communities, have you seen anything like this in those small communities?
No, but I will say that every time you scratch the surface of a small community, there is something else going on. Roller derby is a thing that I've just gotten into, and frankly, just learning the rules a little bit about. So the fact is that the answer to the question, the hard answer to your question is no. I have not seen roller derby in, for example, the Central Valley. If you look at some of these smaller communities, but I'm sure it exists.
Well, there are teams from around California and all up and down the coast, and a lot of them, Humboldt has either hosted or they play. In fact, last month when we had our debut for the season, we had a team that has restarted. You know, the pandemic crushed a lot of programs that were getting started, but a team came from Shasta. We've had a team from Chico play. You know, the Bay Area has great teams. The team that came up here last time was a world-beating team, amazing. And then this is a Bay Area team again tonight. You know, the world champions, there's over 300 teams in this federation of roller derby. The world champions are up in Portland.
I had no idea.
They hosted the world championship last year. So, you know, you have this tradition along the West Coast. It's not like the roller derby we watched as kids. That was a bank track and kind of half wrestling.
And exactly. So I don't know. I can't explain the difference. I remember seeing those games on TV, and when I came here, I saw something different. But I don't really. Again, I'm a novice. You brought me into this world, and I'm still learning the rules. What do you know the difference between that?
Oh, the flat track is a not like a staged event like those old roller derby, and there are specific rules to the flat track, obviously, that don't exist on the bank track. We're gonna have to move on and interview some of the team members.
Okay.
I just think it's great, and I thank you. I appreciate you greatly. I think it's great that not only are you underwriting the team, but you take the time when you're in the community and you come out and see the roller derby. I know this isn't your first bout, and I know it won't be your last bout, so it's good to have you.
It will not be my last. And Paul, I want to thank you. You're a very dear friend, and I love you.
I love you too, man. Can you give me a T-shirt?
Maybe I will.
There you go. All right. We're going to move Arthur out. Take care, man. See you tomorrow night. I'm going to dinner over at Tony's tomorrow night. I said I'm going to dinner tomorrow night. We're going to have not one but two interviewees, or one?
I guess so.
Just you?
Mia, do you want to come? Should we go at the same time?
Well, maybe one after the other because we only have one headset.
Okay.
And you are?
My name is Simey.
Stymie?
Simey, like a Siamese cat.
Like
yeah,
a Siamese
yeah.
cat. Is that your roller derby name?
No, that's my middle name.
That's your middle name?
Yeah. I haven't come up with a derby name yet.
And because where are you in the process of the roller derby?
I'm in L2 training camp, so level 2. I passed L1 last semester, and now I'm trying to get on to the big team.
You're going to have to explain this to me because I think it's fascinating. What made you sign up for level 1?
One of the players on the team is my friend, Maud Behavior.
Maud.
I hope she's skating tonight. I saw her coaching the first game, and she taught me how to roller skate, actually.
So you never skated?
Mm-mm.
Were you an athlete in high school?
I did soccer. So
Soccer.
I'm really excited to do a team sport again, but roller skating, I had no clue.
So now where did you start roller skating? You go to Blue Lake on the rink, or?
She took me to the rink, and then she just got me some outdoor wheels and made me just skate around town with her and go to the skate park. And I'm pretty bad still compared to her, but she taught me a lot of stuff. And if it weren't for her, I probably wouldn't have had the courage.
Okay, talk to me about the fear factor of signing up for the level 1 training camp.
I think the scariest, it's really intimidating when you come to a bout and you see what they're doing and you can barely stop successfully. And the coaches
let me ask, can you see yourself at this level?
I hope so. In L2, we get to get physical. So now the people on the team will come, they coach us themselves. So they come early to practice, coach us, and they're starting to push us around a little bit, so it's a little scary. But yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I just have to get better at my skills, because if you can't stand up, then you're gonna just fall over every time.
So talk to me. What kind of commitment is level 1? How many times a week are you going?
It's 3 days a week. So level
Wow.
1 and level 2, 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. now that I'm in level 2, they sometimes ask us to stay late and warm up with the big team. And then we usually all try to volunteer at the games.
So now that you've watched a game, do you see yourself as a jammer? Do you see yourself as a blocker? Do you see yourself, I guess the pivot would be the third position, but that.
I think pivot sounds fun because I really like to do it all. I did midfield in soccer. I really am defensive when I play, but I really love the chance to get out there and get a chance to be offensive. So
Then obviously when the head cover gets passed, the pivot becomes the jammer and then has the opportunity to score the point. So that's exciting. Now you're here watching. I mean, you get excited. You get a little.
Oh yeah, I think it's I'm trying to work on watching more of the blockers. I tend to watch the jammer because it's fun and that's where your eye goes. But I'm trying to learn more about strategy and how they work together, especially when they're trying to break up the pack so that their jammer can get through. So yeah, that's what I'm learning more. It's kind of strategy is what I want to learn more about in this game.
So do you feel that there's been an intense learning curve and you're just starting to get it?
Yeah, definitely. They don't teach you any gameplay in L1. So they just teach you how to skate and how to stop, how to do certain turns, and you don't know why you'll be using those skills later. So it's really exciting now to integrate like how to play the game and why these skills matter. And also just being comfortable getting beat up. But it's kind of fun, you know?
That's going to really help the audience out there. Somebody's really going to want to sign up. Man, once you get used to getting beat up, it's a great sport.
You know, it's all with love. I think everyone on the team is doing it because it's fun and they really get along with each other, not because they actually want to hurt anyone. I feel like there's a really strong sense of camaraderie. Like, I feel like this sport is more inclusive than any sport I've ever played.
Right. And it's like that old pop song, Love Hurts. So there you go. Well, that's fantastic. Now, I have another question is, you said you graduated from level 1 to level 2. Do you have to graduate from level 2? Could they say to you, Simon, I want you to go through that level again?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people do it twice.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm hoping. You got to attend enough practices and you have to pass the skills test. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, my little granddaughter's in the tadpole swimming, and you got to go from the tadpole to the guppies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure you make it.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. So this is the big one right here, is that when you come to a doubleheader at Franceschi Hall on a Saturday night, it's the second bout that features the top line players. So this is what you're aspiring to be.
Yeah. I think I need to work on my endurance a little bit.
Now, have you become a Betty or a Widowmaker yet? They haven't drafted you? No, you got to pass
Not
level
yet.
2.
Not yet. Yeah.
All right.
You have to play 3 scrimmages before you get a chance to be.
All right. Now, should we talk to your buddy as well?
Yeah. Let's get Mia over here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Simon, thank you. It was fascinating to find out about that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And good luck. I hope you make it.
Thank
I
you.
hope we're calling your name out here someday.
I hope so too.
I hope so too.
Cheers.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, I'll see you on the other side.
The home team, the Redwood, the Humboldt Root Force out doing their warm-ups and getting ready. And who do we have here?
Oh, my name's Mia.
Mia.
I'm, like Simon, I'm in the L2 of training camp.
Okay, you're in the L2 of training camp. So
Yeah.
what made you take the leap to L1 and get started with it?
Yeah, what made me, I had a friend who came to one of the games and was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, you need to do the camp with me. And she had to really,
Why didn't she do it?
No, she did it too. We did it together. She had to really convince me because it seemed very scary. But
It does seem very scary.
it's, you know, they're taking
Sit down
hard
here
hits.
and watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
they're
they're-
going after each other.
They're taking hard hits. Like
They are
you-
taking hard hits.
Yeah, and it's a lot harder than it looks, I have to say.
I think it looks, what I think is the aspect of the game that looks hard, and I'll bet you it's harder than it looks, is when the jammer is just piled up and pushing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of energy that's going out there.
Totally. I think you don't, sometimes as a spectator, you don't realize how exhausting it is to be the jammer because you've got the body weight of 4 people and sometimes extras like pushing back against you, and that's why sometimes you can see them like they look tired because
Look
it's like
tired, look
yeah,
exhausted.
and it's only 2 minutes, but 2 minutes feels like a million years
Oh,
when
no.
you're playing.
It's tremendous. So
yeah.
you've passed level 1, now you're in level 2?
Yeah.
So now you're getting bumped around a little bit?
Yeah.
You like that?
I do. It's very fun. It's really hard.
It is really hard.
You have to learn to be very sturdy, so it's really important to like engage your core, get low, get ready for someone to hit you like a truck. Like it's like way harder than I could have ever imagined. But and this is just training camp, but it's really fun. It's very rewarding to watch yourself like get stronger and like get better. You just stick with it, and you always, you improve. You just got.
Now, were you an athlete as a high schooler or what? Did you play anything?
I've never played a single sport. No contact
What?
sports.
Never played a single sport, and
Yeah.
you're going to start out with roller derby.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What did your family say?
They're excited. My parents are like, they think it's really badass, and they're excited for me. Yeah, it's a lot, but this is a good sport to like. It's just, it's intense, but this team is like the kindest, sweetest, most like supportive people that you'll ever meet. Like they're always like uplifting us, and because we have like hard days where your skills, like it feels like you're not getting better. And you're learning so much at once, and everybody on the team is so encouraging. It's like, it's really awesome.
Well, they have a great program bringing folks up, and I was talking to board member Merchant of Menace earlier tonight. They're even going to bring back the Saplings, which is the young team.
Yeah.
Junior high school kids.
Yeah.
Getting them ready for roller derby. So
Yeah.
they're creating a great tradition here.
Totally. Yeah, I think the derby community is very strong in Humboldt. Like we have a very vibrant, like people from like out of town really like coming to the like. If you go to a game in another city, it might not be quite as like lively as this.
Have you gone to a game in another city?
I've been to a championship match in Portland, which
you went to those?
Yeah, I went to champs. So
was that just awesome?
Yeah, it was awesome. That was very lively. So that's my only experience. But I think that people are really into derby up here, which is very awesome. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you thought of a name?
I have a few, but it's a work in progress. And I don't want to drop them yet because I don't know. It's a lot. It feels like
Do you
a lot.
talk about that with anybody?
I do all the time. We're always like, "What's your name gonna be?" We ask like each other to brainstorm. It's it just feels like a lot of pressure.
So now,
pick
have
a
you
name,
made a lot of friends through this?
Yeah. So Simon and I, we started in L1 together, and that was in August. So we've been skating together for like 6 months, and everyone in our group, like everyone we're skating with now, we were in L1 together. And so we formed a really tight-knit bond since then.
So then how much are you skating on your own?
Like outside of practice, it can be hard, life like kind of gets in the way, and it's hard to find a nice space like this. Like we skate outdoors sometimes, but it's in order to actually practice, it's hard to find a smooth surface. Sometimes people go and skate in like school hallways and wherever you can find like the skate park. But yeah, we mostly the bulk of our practice is 3 times a week. We like 3 nights a week for an hour. And then, yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
You enjoying yourself here tonight?
Yeah, it's super fun. It's been a hoot. I try and go to every single game, so this is
Do you
awesome.
have responsibilities when you get to the game?
I do try and volunteer every time. I'm not volunteering this time because I have a friend visiting me, but usually I'm like doing concessions or drinks or at the check-in booth.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting ready for the second game.
Oh yeah.
Last time out, Humboldt had a real rough run, the Route 4s.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they respond tonight against another Bay Area team. So
Yeah.
that's always, quite the challenge.
Yeah. Super excited. It's going to be a good one, I think. But
Well, thank
Yeah.
you for joining us.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
it
for-
greatly.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Right on. Halftime guest. It was Arthur Hartinger, one of our underwriters with the Rennie Law Group, and then Simi and Mia, who are in the level 2 of the training camp, and that is a level where players are start to introduce to strategy and hitting, so that start getting bumped around a little bit. The Merchant of Venice is returning. We've got a couple of minutes before. I'm going to go ahead and give our underwriters their due. The Speakeasy, a New Orleans craft-style cocktail bar at 411 Opera Alley in Eureka. The Rennie Public Law Group, providing legal services to public agencies throughout California, practicing public law and public interest. Find out more at renniepubliclawgroup.com. Broadcasts of these games, we couldn't do it without our underwriters, and one of them, A to Z Eye Care, dedicated to providing the community with quality vision care through education, technology, and excellent service. The Merchant of Menace is back. What do we call you for short? Menace?
Yeah, I'm Menace for short.
Really?
Yep.
So Menace and Wicked.
Menace and
call
Wicked.
each other that around the house?
No, not so much, but we have
Not
noted,
so much, but
we have noted
at certain
that
times.
it's a good pair. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
We've talked about whether we could be the henchmen in like a movie like Hercules. You could have Menace and Wicked, like the little imps.
You know, I'm just getting back into kids' movies. You know, when you have kids, I mean, should you choose? When you have kids, you know, you do the kid movies then.
Right.
And then they grow older, and then you don't do the kid movies. But now I have a granddaughter, and I'm back into the kid movie. I went and saw Paddington in Peru.
Oh, really? How was it?
Oh, you'll laugh, you'll cry. It was a little bit of everything.
All right. I like the sound of that.
That's right. You know, and, you know, as a grandfather, you get to spoil the kid, you know. So as your daughter watches in horror, as you buy the granddaughter the Raisinets. You know?
Yeah, I think
She's 3. Here, kid.
I think that's the full purpose. You're supposed to help spoil the kid and torture the child.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, game 2. Game 1 was a tremendous success as far as getting people out on the rink. Interesting. Talk to a couple of trainees that are currently in the level 2 about their experience. That's a perfect kind of situation that they would have to get their feet wet, so to speak, in a bigger bout. But now this one's for keeps, playing the San Francisco Rolling Dead, which, I mean, what is that? Is that like a Grateful Dead thing? Is that a?
I was thinking maybe The Walking Dead, that zombie show. They're
Oh,
the
yeah?
Rolling
There
Dead.
you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't know, but we have some thoughts. I want to say that you're listening to KZZH 96.7 Eureka Community Radio from Access Humboldt. You're also, you may be watching KZZH's live broadcast of the Humboldt Roller Derby. This game is not a sanctioned bout, and for the Root Force tonight, also a night to kind of go ahead and give some people possible exposure as they're bringing some of the folks up from the Redwood Rollers. And so we'll see that here tonight in this second bout.
Yeah, I'll notice there's not all the fun props this time.
No props.
No saws and blow-up flamingos. It's all
you go.
business.
The inflatables are not ready for this match. You know, interesting right off the top, seeing the players that are wearing the jammer helmets for Humboldt. You've got, I can see Chakra Punch. I can see Clover Kill. I can see Furious George. And looks like Poetic Justice again with Poetic Justice, I thought, had a rougher game that last game, although the North Betty Jetties did a great job going ahead and holding up the jammers for the Widowmakers. But so we'll see how Poetic Justice does in this one.
Yeah, I've got to say, I think a lot of that first game came down to some really fantastic blocking from the North Jetty buddies.
No doubt about it. Here comes the home team for introduction. Braun Luke Picard is serving as your master of ceremonies. See that Sprocket Rocket is not in the lineup for this second game. That's a shame.
Well,
Had a great game in that first game. Also, Destroyer not in the game for this game.
that is surprising. I guess
Pork and Beans being announced. Humboldt in there. They come out in this formation for introductions. Get the crowd going.
I guess without Destroyer out there, it's going to be Stranger Danger going toe-to-toe with people.
Stranger Danger is in the lineup. We'll see. Also, Bjorn Wicked. Maybe we'll have to pick up some of that slack, so to speak.
I like the sound of that, and I'm sure she will too.
Yeah. Cherry Bomber not wearing a jammer garment. What are we calling them now?
Oh, I forgot.
Head cover.
Head cover. There it is. Head cover.
There, Cherry Bomber is indeed. That was Peaches and Scream that got in this. One of my former partners, Slam Chowder, being introduced. There's Stranger Danger coming out onto the rink. Otter Pop playing for the first time tonight.
Oh, there's some good stars coming out now. I got to say, I love watching Slam Chowder play Derby.
And why? What do you like about Slam?
I think she's got a lot of attitude to her. I think she manages to get to places where stuff needs to happen, and she'll get those hits at times when you don't think anybody's going to knock someone out.
There you go. The team racing around the track, trying to get people pumped up.
You can feel it. There's a different energy to this game.
Yeah. You know, I greatly appreciate the first game and have seen some great bouts, but, you know, the second bouts of these events, when you get the players that are on the top squads, they're that much faster and they're that much harder hitting.
Yep.
So the Rolling Dead, established in 2004, they are from Oakland, California, consisting of 4 home teams, 2 competitive travel teams, a recreational program, skating and non-skating officials, and many dedicated volunteers. Like Humboldt, a great program and infrastructure, so to speak. The community involvement has included participating in San Francisco Pride Parade, skating in the Piedmont 4th of July Parade, and they support various fundraisers and nonprofits in the Bay. So much like our own Humboldt Roller Derby, the Redwood Rollers and the Route Force, they are a community-based event. So here we go.
And they've got one of those 4-digit numbers there. We can already see 4815.
Oh, my God. That's Throb Zombie.
I'm always...
Whoa, breaking loose. Oh, my.
Wow.
Breaking loose immediately was Big Perm.
There goes Cloverkill.
They were laid out by Shreddy Mercury. Cloverkill's going to break loose for Humboldt.
Oh, but looks like she's going over to the penalty box.
Okay, so on a Power Jam is the Bay Area, the Rolling Dead. And up on the board, not listed, Disco Brawl is the jammer and being held up in turn number 4. And now Disco Brawl winding up, breaking loose finally. Breaking loose finally. Good defense by Woodward. Actually,
that was the pivot.
The pivot was passed. Pivot was passed to number 407, Florida Man.
That's a great name.
And Cloverkill back out of the box and on the run. 4-0 in favor of the Bay Area.
But we're seeing some of that good defense showing up from Humboldt now.
And Cloverkill coming into the
There we go.
scrum, and a great move, faking out. Good move. Bashing Robbins. Left standing in the lurch, and now Cloverkill comes back up to the defense and gets around. I can tell you right now, the Rolling Dead need to ratchet it up a little bit hitting-wise.
Well, this is what we like to see in this first jam. We're out to a nice early lead.
8-4. No, they're going to add the points. 8-8, so 16 points. A lot for one turn of a jam, one jam turn. And now Humboldt will employ the defense that we saw the North Jetty Betties using quite a bit, where two of the blockers will start on the line and then use their momentum to come up to the original jam line to the scrum. And some good hitting there. Breaking loose, Furious George. Furious George breaking loose.
And there's a pile up.
There's a pile up. And smashing their way through. Tough pushing by Greco.
That is a feisty jammer right there.
Furious George was pushed out and then called off the jam. Furious George did score 2 points, so it's 10-8.
Oh, I can just tell this is going to be a great bout. They're feisty already.
There we go. 3 minutes and 15 seconds in, and the Merchant of Menace has decided this one's going to be an all-timer.
It's true. I'm calling it right now. Instant classic.
Instant classic. Here we go.
Get your VCRs recording.
Chakra Punch is the jammer for Humboldt, and it's going to break loose. Meanwhile, pushed out. Corpse Silver is going to have to go at it again. Now Corpse Silver breaks loose, and it's Danger that tried to give a last line of defense but couldn't do it. Danger doing some blocking here to help spring Shaka Punch. Shaka Punch loose again. And Corpse Silver, wow.
Whoa.
Man, whoa, delivering the blow. Knocking down the Humboldt defense. Chakra Punch and Corpse Silver, both of them loose, both of them scoring. But I'll tell you, Corpse Silver not to be messed with. Man, oh, man. And wisely so, Chakra Punch calls off the jam because I'll tell you what, with a head of steam, Corpse Silver, woo.
There is already some hard hitting going on out there tonight.
There's been some aerial time on a couple of those hits. 18-12. Teams all starting in a scrum right now on a jam line.
You said 18-12. I thought you were giving me a jersey number for a moment.
No, yeah. And it's going to be...
That was an interesting move there.
It's going to be Cherry Bomber coming out of all of that because I'll tell you what, it was quite a pileup in turn number 1 there, but Cherry Bomber is loose, pushing, doing what they do best.
Yes.
Slam jamming straight ahead. Cherry Bomber ready to take on the defense, but some good back blocking by the Humboldt defense, or defense turning to offense, we should say. Cherry Bomber on the loose, and this is a run for Humboldt because there is nothing happening. Now the panty is, or the head cover's been passed to the pivot, Tara Bishop, number 999, but it's going to get called off, and that was a big run for Humboldt, 12-0. Making it 30-12.
Boy, that was a thing of beauty.
Well, Cherry Bomber, you know, they are a great scoring jammer when they get a head of steam going. So it's Poetic Justice, and I can't see who it is for the Rolling Dead. And so here we are, Poetic Justice being held up. And the Rolling Dead's jammer is Florida Man. Florida Man pushing. Florida Man at Shreddy Mercury. Florida Man and Sasha Thrash trying to get through. Meanwhile, Poetic Justice still being held up, and Florida Man is loose. Florida Man around turn 4 into turn 1 and ready to take on the Humboldt defense. And a move to the outside. What a move. What a move by Florida Man.
Every one of these sounds like you're doing a newspaper headline.
Wow. Florida Man, set with their blockers set up in front of them, is going to go ahead and meet the Humboldt defense again. Humboldt a little sturdier this time. Florida Man was able to have a real advantage last time. The head cover has been passed to Sugar Rush, and we're having a call there. Florida Man outscores Humboldt 4-0. It's 30-16.
I was going to say, I wasn't going to be surprised if they adjusted that score. That was 8-0 on that one.
There you go. I spoke too soon, which is very easy to do when you're calling roller derby. So here we go. Oh, ho, ho.
Wow.
Wow. Off the start. Who was that? That was Maud Behavior, the captain for tonight, laying a huge hit on Greco. Meanwhile, Cloverkill has broke loose. Maud Behavior, outstanding defense. Here comes Cloverkill, that fast around the rink and ready to go ahead and engage with the defense, and only engaged a little bit because then broke through it. I'll tell you, Maud Behavior is laying some leather out there.
I got to say, I think you call this a feisty scrum. You brought up rugby before. That's what I'm seeing out here.
That's what you're seeing. Called off and waiting for the points to be awarded. 5 for Humboldt, 35-20. Same officials as we saw last game. Tasmanian Devil, Blondie, Megalodonna, Missy Elliott, and Aurora Chaser. 35-20 with 20:50 to go in half number 1. Whistle blows, and Furious George cuts to the inside and breaking loose. I'll tell you what, breaking loose. Keep an eye on Corpse Silver. Something tells me this is a wrecking ball of a jammer. Straight into the fence. Shreddy Mercury is sent flying.
But you got to love that right at the end.
Oh, they're going to call time there.
Good sportsmanship right after hitting like a wrecking ball.
I don't know. A right cross and a handshake. Is that considered good sportsmanship?
It makes it all better.
2 points on that. 35-22. Called off the jam. Wow. I'm telling you, Corpse Silver, keep an eye. Chakra Punch is the jammer for Humboldt, and for the Rolling Dead, yet to be identified. It's number 256. That's going to be Existential Dead. Existential Dead. That's kind of an oxymoron. What is this?
It's very thematic with the Rolling Dead.
It is, but Existential Dead. The existentialist. Is this? Oh, knocked down.
Would you call that a pancake?
I would call it, yes, flattened. Chakra Punch still trying to fight and being knocked out and having to restart. Meanwhile, back restarting is the Existential Dead. Existentialism, the Albert Camus of the league. Here comes Chakra Punch. And punch to the inside. What a move.
Beautiful.
Oh, they're going to say that she cut the track. Oh, that was close.
Wow. I'm not sure I agree with that call.
Existential Dead yet to really break through. Otter Pop doing a great job. Slam Chowder doing a great job.
That is incredible defense.
And Bjorn Wicked. That trio has bottled up the jammer for the Rolling Dead. Finally breaking to the outside. Finally getting loose. Was thinking about passing the undergarment. A fake pass of the undergarment. Now, or the head cover, not the undergarment.
Head cover. There we go. Oh, here comes Chakra on the
Here
inside.
goes Chakra punch. And
There
Chakra
we
punch
go.
on the inside. Oh, what a move.
Yes.
Way to speed up on that inside Chakra punch. Getting some of that mojo back that wasn't there last month. So, looks like 4-4 on that exchange, 39-26.
That was a heck of a jam to end up with 4-4.
We're at 17-34, so about halfway through this half, which is starting out as more of a defensive look.
It's a really tight battle, I have to say.
Well, that would be welcomed because last time the Root Force were out, that was not the case.
Yeah, you could say that.
I've never rooted for a team that got beat by 300.
Well, you've been rooting in the wrong sports. I have to say, that last one was pretty lopsided, but this one's looking really good.
Very good. 39-26, 17-34 to go.
I like the energy that both teams are bringing. Like, I really feel like this one's going to come down to the wire.
Well, I just like the fact that here we have another team from the Bay Area that has travel teams, and they're starting out well because it was not a good start last time against that Bay Area All-Star team. So, you know, sometimes when these teams have more to draw from, deep benches, good players. So for Humboldt to start out well is important. I would say, you know, you talk about keys to the game. They have to start well. And so far, so good. Cherry Bomber out of my way. She is off and loose. And Florida Man is as well. About half a track behind. Cherry Bomber coming up to a possible scoring and going to knock past Dumpling Hearse and then call off the jam, huh? Didn't want the Rolling Dead jammer, Florida Man, to get a chance to score any. What about Dumpling Hearse, isn't it?
I don't, is there a pun in there? I haven't got it yet. Dumpling Hearse. I don't know. Is it? I know what dumplings are, and I know what a hearse is. I just don't know what the connection is between them.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to say, I love it when you let the other jammer get all the way around and about to score, and then you call it off.
It feels kind of nefarious.
Little mental victory, you know.
Poetic Justice stepped out and has to go back. Meanwhile, breaking loose, that is Greco.
Greco has definitely been feisty so far.
And passing their own blocks. Oh, and delivering the blow.
Oh, wow.
Down went Peaches and Scream. Down went Maud Behavior, and down went Slam Chowder. Down goes Frazier. Unbelievable.
I feel like that was bowling we just watched.
Yeah, I tell you what, Greco knocked over her own person. And then she goes down. You're right. They did a lot of time on the floor tonight. Checking back in is Bjorn Wicked. They're in turn number 4 now. And look at that. Breaking loose on her first real breakaway of the night is Poetic Justice. Good for them. And calling off the jam Calling off the jam is Greco. Now down goes Frazier. You didn't get that one.
I didn't get that.
You don't know
one.
what that's from, huh?
And it's not from the old TV show
It's from
Frasier.
the
I assume.
73 title fight with recently departed George Foreman and
George
Joe
Foreman.
Frazier.
Yeah,
Down
all right,
goes
there
Howard
we go.
Cosell. Down goes Frazier. But that's tonight. There's a lot of that. Down goes Chowder. Here comes.
Wow, Danger getting feisty again.
It's Corp Silver.
Oh, Danger going one-on-one with
A
Corp Silver.
perfect
That's
matchup.
good.
A perfect matchup.
Oh,
Corp Silver. And look at this. Corp Silver chasing Cloverkill. It's jammer action. She's going to knock Cloverkill out and go
yowza.
out herself. I thought they were headed for the front row.
yeah, I really thought that one was going to end up in the benches.
Unbelievable.
That was an incredible jam to get 0-0.
Well, I just, rarely do you get that. I'll tell you, I liked Corp Silver as a player. Exciting.
Very, I agree.
Another palindrome here, the 43-34.
As long as
Furious George.
As long as the palindrome's in our favor, I'm happy about it.
There you go. Furious George scurrying back and forth. Behind the line.
There, she's about to break
slipping through.
Oh.
Slipping through. But meanwhile, it's Existential Dead. There it goes. The Existentialist trying to score some points. Meanwhile, Furious George wrapped up. Oh, what a spin move by Furious George.
Beautiful spin.
What a spin move to the inside. And going to get called, I guess, left the track. Meanwhile, that leaves the Existential Dead. It's eerie. It's weird. And here she is trying to score some points. Oh, one-on-one with Mod Behavior. And if that wasn't enough, the little Peaches and Scream. And then to the outside, and it's slam chowder.
Chowder's on it. Oh.
And then, knocked out.
There we go.
Knocked out by Peaches and Scream. So the Existential Dead will have to go back. And think about that. To some other level.
Love when there's a power jam and they can't score the points. That's just a good feeling.
Like a power play kill in hockey. But it was a 7-0 run. It has made this game 43-41.
I told you this one was going to be close.
It's going to be close. Little discount tickets tonight because you're going to be on the edge of your seat. You're not going to need the whole seat.
Oh, that's a good line.
That's an old line from
That's a wrestling line, isn't
yes.
it? Yeah. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Exactly. We got to throw those in. You got to pay homage to the radio greats. Oh, Furious George runs over Florida Man out of my way and breaking loose and coming all of a sudden Furious George, who you think is a speed player, is become a lot more physical and is really a dynamic jammer. Speed, agility, adding power, unstoppable.
I think Furious George has the power to be a real star.
A real star. Here we go. 47-41. And just blowing by the Rolling Dead. Meanwhile, the Florida Man is nowhere to be seen. Yes, if I look down on the ground. And
Four
Furious
more for George. Wow.
Wow, rack him up. Furious George, 55-41.
Oh, the Dead were trying to get their tripod back together and just nothing.
Nothing.
George
Furious
is just slicing through them.
Keep going. 41 seconds left on the jam. Already 16 points, a 16-0 run. Here comes Furious George. Oh, a break to the outside, a break to the outside. Inside, outside, and more points. This is a 20-0 run. This is the kind of run that could be the deciding factor in the game.
Well, this was a 2-point game before this run.
That's right. It was 43-41. But that is not the case. 13 seconds left of the jam.
And she's not even done.
She's exhausted, though.
Oh, yeah. You can see it.
running into the defense, and finally an exhausted Furious George.
She still did it.
And she got
made it
past
by.
and calls off the jam
Wow.
with 1 second to go in the time jam. A 24-point jam, 24-0. That is your Humboldt Root Force replay. Unbelievable.
So are we early to call the MVP for jammers?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. A 24-point jam. Well, let's get the underwriters in while there's a break in the action. Speakeasy Bar, a New Orleans-inspired custom-built bar. Seasonal craft cocktails, local fresh ingredients, live jazz, blues, music, and more. 411 Opera Alley. Rennie Public Law Group, providing legal services to public agencies throughout California, practicing public law in the public interest. Find out more at renniepubliclawgroup.com. And then A to Z Eye Care, dedicated to providing the community with quality vision care through education, technology, and excellent service. Find out more at A to Z eyecare.com. Well, that's going to be your moment of the game. A 24-0 run. It's just impossible to think that that can be replicated. That was fantastic.
That was absolutely incredible. And that one jam was more than half of the other team's points.
There you go.
No.
You do the math.
And
Chakra
Chakra
Punch.
absolutely. Wow.
Breaking through. And here comes Chakra Punch up to the line to try to score some points and knocked out. Meanwhile, pushing for Greco. Just a great job. It's Bjorn Wicked. It's
Slam
Chowder and Maud Behavior. They have been a great group of defenders tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Chakra Punch sliding to the inside and then down and being told to go back. Oh, what great effort, though. And finally, breaking loose, and Maud Behavior with a last hit, but Greco able to get through. And here comes the jammer for the Rollers, and knocked out, or the Rolling Dead. The Rollers, the Root Force, and the Rolling Dead.
Well, I guess you don't want to roll over the Roots.
No, yeah, there you go.
That makes sense. You can tell who's going to win this one just based off the names.
Is that how it is?
Oh, yeah.
I think in the NCAA tournament, my daughter used to say she looked for the animal that could eat the other animal.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense. If a giant is fighting a cowboy, you'd think they'd just smish it. No.
Right, exactly. That's Cherry Bomber. Oh, what a move by Corpse Silver. Corpse Silver chasing Cherry Bomber. You got to like this, taking the inside. Let's see how this works out. You got people already falling and panicking. Corpse Silver taking down. Wow. They're going to call off the jam. Torque and Beans was no match for Corpse Silver. Very obvious what the Root Force is thinking. If Corpse Silver is out there with a head of steam on the loose, call the jam off.
It makes sense.
It's safer.
Yeah. It's the importance of getting lead jammer, even if you can just get out there for a moment, being able to stop one of these jammers from going on this massive run.
Controlling the jam.
Yeah.
Or running over your players.
Yeah.
So here we go. Poetic Justice, the jammer for Root Force. And it is Existential Dead for the Rollers. Knocked out. Wow, big hit there by Big Perm.
The defense for the Rollers is looking good, even with some offense jumping in there to try to spring Dead.
Bjorn Wicked, Maud Behavior,
That's 3-on-2, but they are getting no ground on the Humboldt team. Oh, there we go.
Breaking loose. The existential dead. The existentialists. To be is to do. Here they come into the Humboldt scrum. Being held up. That's Bjorn Wicked pushing, trying to drive her out, and is successful. Meanwhile, for Humboldt, Poetic Justice. Poetic Justice having more success in this game than the last in passing the head cover
There we
to
go.
Otter Pop. Otter Pop trying to put on the head cover, had it slipped over the eyes. There's a occupational hazard that you don't often think about.
Yeah, I was lucky they
6:04
called
to
right
go.
there.
73-46. Humboldt has gone on a 40-4 run that has broke this game open for the moment.
I'm into it.
Yeah, well, you got to be your board member.
Yeah.
Clover kill, and I can't see who it is for the Rolling Dead. Cloverkill, though, with a great start to this, breaking loose. Cloverkill is this, but so is Greco. Greco chasing Cloverkill. Will Greco make up the ground? Will it be jammer action? On the inside is Cloverkill. Leaping is Greco. She's going to be called out. What an effort. And Cloverkill was able to score some points and then call off the jam. Wow, leaping over the inside of the track, cutting that corner. That is such an incredible move.
I think Greco did get 1 point on the apex jump.
The apex jump.
It's a great name. I love that.
Oh, you got to love the apex jump. 30-point differential right now, 77-47. Humboldt's most successful defensive group. Right on. Mod Behavior, Slam Chowder, and Bjorn Wicked. And there's Furious George. Furious George. This is the new and Furious George. This is the Furious George. Furious George. Oh, hit hard there by
George is through and called it. Nice.
Called Corp Silver blocking and jamming in this game.
Well, too feisty to just jam. Got to get out there and go toe-to-toe with some people, you know?
That could be like a name of an album. Too feisty to jam. 81-47. Yeah. It's because you said it.
Well, yeah.
Chakra Punch is the Humboldt jammer. 3:55 to go. Let's see if Humboldt can do another run before the half. Chakra Punch inside, outside, breaking inside, then outside, inside, and gets past. And Danger with a big hit on Florida Man. Florida Man pushed out. Chakra Punch scoring, breaking to the inside, slipping, falling, getting up. 4 more points. Florida Man has yet to break loose of the original Humboldt scrum. It's Danger, it's Torque and Beans, and it's Shreddy Mercury. Chakra Punch knocked down by Big Perm.
Florida Man down also.
Man down. Both skaters have to go back and start from where they went out. Chakra Punch is going to call off the jam.
I really feel like we need a skater with a gator in the title to go up against Florida Man. It just feels like that would be appropriate.
Have you ever seen an alligator?
In real life?
Yes.
I probably in a zoo at some point, I think. I don't know.
I was canoeing on the Tangipahoa River that runs into Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana, and one came off the bank while we were in the canoe. Most unsettling experience.
Wow.
Back to this. Enough of that. Cherry Bomber. Cherry Bomber. You know, Cherry Bomber always amazes me because it is not anything fancy. It is just straight ahead, outstanding jamming.
I feel like Jerry always hits the line really hard, like saves it up
Yes.
for a pop right at the right moment.
And round 3 times, Cherry Bomber will score. The pivot had been engaged by the passing of the head cover in that last jam for Rolling Dead. 8-0 on the run for Cherry Bomber, so it's 96-47. Route Force doing a great job in the latter half of this half, scoring points. They've really come alive. Remember, this was once a 43-41 bout.
Yeah.
And they have gone on an incredible 53-6 run.
There's your favorite
Corp
jammer.
Silver. Oh! Leaving a trail of destruction. My God, it's like watching a Godzilla movie or something. Just a swath. Very impressive, Corp Silver. Busting through. Oh, there's just no defense that they won't go after. Meanwhile,
Head cover has been passed.
the head cover has been passed. It's Sugar Rush. And they're going to call off the jam. So 3 points for Corp Silver. 96-50. We're in the last waning seconds here of the first half. And 96-50 in favor of Route Force. Timeout on the rink. 6 seconds to go. So 7 points eventually were added to the Rolling Dead. 96-54. And as we said, 6 seconds to go in the half. Humboldt for the 6 seconds that's there. The back skaters, back blockers slide up. And breaking loose is Cloverkill. Now, the time may run out in the half, but the jam has 1:51. Think of extra time like in soccer. And so Cloverkill could score, and Humboldt could add, even though the half is essentially over. Big Perm goes ahead and takes care of that question. Won't be an issue. Dumping Cloverkill out. And we're going to go to intermission with a score. Humboldt Route Force 98, San Francisco Rolling Dead 54. What did you see in the first half that you liked?
Oh, wow. I think that our guys came out with a whole lot of pop. They came up to the line. They meant it. They hit people hard. They did not look exhausted.
No, they looked very fresh. In fact, and without question, that 24-0 run by Furious George, the highlight of the first half. So 98-54, we'll send it back to the station, and we'll see you for the second half.
Welcome to the KZZH Community Calendar for the week starting Friday, March 21st, 2025. On Friday, March 21st, got game? Come to the Gene Lucas Community Center game night from 4 to 8 p.m. at 3000 Newburgh Avenue in Fortuna. This is a free game night for ages 16 and older or younger with an accompanying adult. There will be board games and card games. Check in with volunteer Matt Manzano upon arrival. Email layla@glccenter.org to find out more. Also on Friday, it's March Skate Nights from 6:30 to 9 p.m. at the Eureka Municipal Auditorium at 1120 F Street. This is a first-come, first-served event with a maximum of 75 skaters at one time. No pre-registration is needed. March 28th will be Adult Night. Email cjungers@eurekaca.gov or call 707-441-4248 to find out more. On Saturday, March 22nd, get ready for a rumble in the Redwoods as your hometown Humboldt Roller Derby team takes on Bay Area Roller Derby. You can catch all the heart-stopping action at Redwood Acres starting at 6 p.m. And if you can't make it out to Franceschi Hall, Access Humboldt has got you covered. You can listen to live descriptions of the game here on KZZH 96.7 or stream it at kzzh.accesshumboldt.net. Or you can even watch the action with our newly expanded video stream coverage at youtube.com/@accesshumboldt/streams. Also on Saturday, you can join the Volunteer Ivy Removal Day from 12 to 4 p.m., starting at the Humboldt County Building Maintenance, 901 2nd Street in Eureka, where you can help remove invasive ivy in Old Town. Drop in anytime between noon and 4 p.m. Tools and safety equipment will be provided, but it helps if you can bring your own. It's suggested you wear thick clothing and bring water. Email hatwood@eurekaca.gov or call 707-441-4218 to find out more. Finally, on Saturday, come to the BLC Employee Craft Fair from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Blue Lake Casino and Hotel, 777 Casino Way in Blue Lake. Local artists and vendors showcase their handmade Humboldt creations, from hemp bath and body products to jewelry, ceramics, woodworking, tumblers, rhinestone designs, magnets, and more. You will find the fair in the Kinetic Room by the Redwood Gallery. On Sunday, March 23rd, you are invited to Vatican II starting at 4 p.m. at the Morris Graves Museum of Art, 636 F Street in Eureka. Join Eric Sikora for an insightful presentation revisiting the pivotal Second Vatican Council and its transformative impact on the concept of laity in the Catholic Church. Find out more at humboldtarts.org. Also on Sunday, check out the Clothing Swap in Fortuna from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Gene Lucas Community Center, 3000 Newburgh Avenue in Fortuna. Clean out your closets and find some new clothes. Please bring a maximum of one bag or box of clothes or just an empty bag. Take as much as you like. No kids' clothing, socks, undergarments, dirty or damaged items, please. Email layla@glccenter.org for more information. On Monday, March 24th, find out what happened during the magnitude 7.0 Mendocino Fault earthquake on December 5th, 2025, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Natural History Museum of Cal Poly Humboldt, 1242 G Street in Arcata. This will be Tsunami Awareness Month talk with local expert Lori Dengler, Professor Emeritus of the Department of Geology at Cal Poly Humboldt. Donations are welcome. Email natmus@humboldt.edu or call 707-826-4480 to find out more. On Tuesday, March 25th, it's Nature Storytime from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Humboldt Coastal Nature Center, 220 Stamps Lane in Manila. This event is geared for ages 3 to 6. Each week, there is a short story, movement activity, and art project for children and their caregivers to enjoy. Upcoming topics include owls, pollinators, and dune plants, and the Nature Storytime on April 22nd will be bilingual in both English and Spanish. Call 707-444-1397 to find out more. Also on Tuesday, it's the monthly online Humboldt Healthcare for All meeting from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Humboldt Healthcare for All and Physicians for a National Health Program will meet by Zoom. Email healthcareforallhumboldt@gmail.com for the meeting link. On Wednesday, March 26th, don't miss movie nights at the Eureka Library, a Women's History Month series from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at the Eureka Library, 1313 3rd Street. This is a free film series highlighting the resilience, creativity, and strength of women in different walks of life. There will be free popcorn and sparkling water. Go to humlib.org for more information. Also on Wednesday, come to the Death Cafe Humboldt with Gina Belton from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the McKinleyville Senior Center, 620 Pickett Road. This is a group-directed discussion of death with no agenda, objectives, or themes. It is a discussion group rather than a grief support or counseling session. Email kanderson@95519@yahoo.com or call 707-839-3917 to find out more. On Thursday, March 27th, the Careers in Health speaker series continues from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Cal Poly Humboldt, 1 Harp Street in Arcata. Experts will share professional experiences and career paths with local high school and college students to inspire a new generation of health professionals on the North Coast. Email jdo1@humboldt.edu for the exact location, or for the Zoom link, call 707-826-4274. Also on Thursday, there will be a Young Professionals Mixer from 6 to 8 p.m. at Havana in Arcata, 787th Street. Make connections, get a professional headshot, and promote your business, art, or passion. There will be free food, community, and raffle prizes. Email gloria@arcatachamber.com to find out more. To submit your nonprofit event to the KZZH community calendar, go to kzzh.accesshumboldt.net and follow the community calendar link located near the top of the page. Your event information will be read twice a day, at noon and 5 p.m. on weekdays and at noon on the weekends. Your event information will also be shared on Access Humboldt TV's bulletin board. Access Humboldt, local voices through community media. For KZZH in Eureka, I'm Isabella Vanderheiden.
Rock meter.
And we're back. Wait a minute. Got to get the right headphones on. All right. We are back at Franceschi Hall at Redwood Acres Fairgrounds here for Humboldt Roller Derby. I am Nate Dowg, and I just want to send out a shout out to Isabella Vanderheiden. We want to thank her for supplying us with the community calendar. Isabella Vanderheiden is a rock star reporter. Thank you, Izzy. All right. We are in intermission. We have about 5.5 minutes till the second half of the second bout. Currently, Humboldt Root Force is leading the way with 98 points against San Francisco Rolling Dead at 54 points. Paul and Menace will be back shortly. We're giving them a much-needed break. How awesome is Paul? Paul is great at this commentating. I mean, very colorful, as well as our color Menace, our color commentator, that is. It is quite a lively event here. So much fun. So many cool people. It is definitely a family event. Come on down next time. I think the next game is April 12th. And of course, if you can't make it, you can always tune in here to Access Humboldt and KZZH 96.7 FM. I do want to remind you that Access Humboldt's Community Media Center is no longer in Eureka. Well, we are in Eureka, but not at the high school anymore. We are currently on the campus of College of the Redwoods. Come down and give us a visit. We're in the old administration building. I will be there to greet you. I am Nate Dowg. I work at Access Humboldt, and I love working at Access Humboldt. You know, my favorite thing at Access Humboldt working there is helping people share their voice with the community. You can have your own TV show or your own radio show. We can teach you how to do it if you don't know how. And if you do know how, we'll just give you the equipment and the studio. You can come and film your TV show at Access Humboldt's Community Media Center. That is your community media center. Let's see, members of Access Humboldt get 8 hours free studio time a month. And that is quite a bit of time. 8 hours a month for free if you are a member. And membership is $50 a year. And it is $25 a year membership for students and seniors. And those are some of the groups that we don't necessarily have represented on our stations. We'd like to hear more from the youth and from the elders. There's a bunch of cool things in the future of Access Humboldt. Keep an eye out and an ear out to what is going on. You can follow us on social medias at Access Humboldt. You can visit our website, accesshumboldt.net, accesshumboldt.net, to see what's going on. You can sign up for our newsletter on our website. We have an actual page that you can sign up for. The page is called Join Our Newsletter, and you can find that under the Learn tab on our homepage. Again, that's accesshumboldt.net. I am Nate Dowg, and you are tuned in to Humboldt Roller Derby, the live broadcast here on Access Humboldt and KZZH 96.7 FM. We have 2 minutes left of the intermission. Oh, one thing you may not know is Access Humboldt, let's see, a few months ago, November, we hired a new executive director, Christina Marie Jeffers. She comes to us with a whole bunch of experience in production. She came from Access Sacramento, so she is quite knowledgeable in the ways of Access Television. I would encourage you folks to come on down to Access Humboldt and meet our new executive director, Christina Marie Jeffers. She is a wonderful person. We are very stoked to have her. Again, Humboldt Roller Derby, right here on Access Humboldt and KZZH. I am Nate Dowg. I'm about to pass it back to Paul and Menes as we get into the second half of the second bout. Keep it here.
Thank you, Nate. A minute to go until we're ready for the second half. Humboldt 98 and the Rolling Dead 54. The difference between this Humboldt experience and what happened last month is the ability to get the jammers loose and on the offensive. Last time against that Bay Area Galaxy team, the root force were bottled up and just could never break loose, but that's not been the case tonight. Tonight we've seen Humboldt get loose, get on the offensive, and when this game got close, it was a big run and breakaway by Furious George that gave Humboldt the cushion that they now enjoy. Back is the Merchant of Menace.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Did you ever direct the Merchant of Venice?
Oddly enough, I have never directed that one. And it came time to pick a pun and, pick a name, and it just worked too perfectly.
Were there other Shakespearean names that you were thinking of?
I don't remember any other full Shakespearean names that we were thinking about.
There you go.
I've just had 15 minutes off. I should have been remembering what all my other names were.
What are you doing? I mean,
I thought I'd go get a drink of water.
So the second half is starting. It's Furious George, and why not start with Furious George? Furious George was the star of the first half, breaking loose, tiptoeing, and getting loose. Oh, my goodness, what an incredible effort to stay in such agility. And Furious George is coming around and getting bumped out there in turn two, and then
Florida
reversing
man.
tracks and going ahead and breaking loose, but calling off the jam as Florida Man had broken loose for the Rolling Dead. By doing so, Furious George will pick up a couple of points and keep the Rolling Dead from scoring a 4-0 jam. And that's, Humboldt just needs to, they can do that. They can just inch by inch and hang on to this lead. What you've got to defense against, obviously, is a big run by the Rolling Dead.
Absolutely, which is why it's really key that we try to get that lead jammer position. Because if they get the lead jammer, they can just keep it lapping around over and over. But if we can get it, even for just a second, having the power to call it off is huge.
There you go. So that could be the strategy here that we see employed in the second half.
Oh, the ref's pointing to his shoulders to the music now.
I think he might have, what's happening here as the ref is dancing around. I think this was the signal to request this song.
Ah, there we go. His shoulders he's pointing to. He's saying, I am Iron Man.
That's right. I think you saw it live, actually.
Wow, this is quite the scrum already.
And they're a different defensive try, and it's big perm.
Wow.
Big perm. Big perm is broken loose. What a strong start to this jam. And Big Perm just powers through.
And Stranger's going to try to go toe-to-toe again.
Stranger Danger's doing the best. Trying to throw a late hit, but cannot stop Big Perm. Meanwhile, Chakra Punches bottled up themselves, and Big Perm keeps moving through incredible speed and power. And Big Perm being held up now, finally. It's Sasha Thrash, it's Danger, and it's Torque and Beans doing a wonderful job rotating on that triad, but Big Perm is eventually going to cast them all aside.
Wow. That's just force of will right there.
Big Perm scoring points already with 8, an 8-0 run. Chakra Punch is exhausted and behind. Remember, Chakra Punch players' second game of the night. And Big Perm, the pivot has got the headgear. It's Danger, and the jam is going to be called off. A 12-0 run. That's what they need, runs.
It's exactly what we don't need.
That's right. Well, I mean, it's what every team needs. I mean,
well, we need them for us, not them.
Right.
Can we special order that?
Well, you know, you're not going to get a bigger one. I'll bet you this, because jams last 2 minutes. I'll bet you that it is going to be hard pressed. Here's Cherry Bomber now pushed out, and also is Corpse Silver. So very physical jammers we see at the moment.
Oh,
Bomber is going to be knocked out, and great job here, Slam Chowder, Bjorn Wicked, and Otter Pop.
That's a dream team right there. Ah, beautiful.
Holding up Corpse Silver, who's been a tremendous jammer so far tonight. You got Slam Chowder in there as well. And Cherry Bomber finally breaks loose. So this is just outstanding defense by Root Force to hold up Corpse Silver, who's been such a powerful jammer. And now Cherry Bomber,
I think Cherry gets points and calls it.
Well, called it, but, you know, Corpse Silver had swung through. Corpse Silver had swung through and gone ahead and scored. So let's see how it shakes out. Want to tell you that it is KZZH 96.7 that you're listening to, and Access Humboldt that you're watching here on the top of the hour, 108 to 70. 108.70, 25-37 to go in this bout. And a little bit more success here in the second half for the Rolling Dead. And knocked down is Existential Dead. There's going to be a penalty on the play, penalty on Torque and Beans. And then it was Shredding Mercury that came and made a late push to knock Existential Dead out. And now the tripod is going to be working. And Existential Dead is finally going to break loose, having a little more success than they did in the first half.
You know, suddenly this 38-point lead is not feeling very safe. They are definitely coming in with a lot of power.
Yeah, but you got to hold a 38-point lead. Come on.
Oh, I certainly hope so.
And it's been Sugar Rush that has been past the head cover, and the jam is going to be called off before Humboldt gets a chance to score. Let's see how things sort out. 4-2 in favor of the Dead. It's 110-74. Humboldt can afford the break even if they're on the downside of it. Exchanges. They just can't let a big run happen.
Absolutely. The 4-2 jam is not going to be the nail in our coffin.
Right. No, that's not hurting anybody. 4-2. You want them all at once? Not enough. So time on the rink. Captains and coaches together with referee. Little dancing on the rink that seems to happen. Rarely in sports do you see the dancing that happened.
Feels like the Rolling Dead are doing a TikTok video over there or something. And
There you
three of
go.
them together dancing and looking over to the sidelines.
I like it. I like the enthusiasm that happened. The weirdest thing I ever saw at a sporting event, believe it or not, I was at the Bombay City Championship for cricket, and there was timeout in the middle of the game, and these guys in white, linens came out and served tea on trays to the players in the match. Unbelievable.
I find it fascinating that your two last stories have had to do with a gator surging onto a boat and people serving tea. At
There
a
you go.
cricket
Well,
match. Very varied life experience.
Very eclectic. And now roller derby. So 24:15 to go, 110-74. Little bit of movement here by the Rolling Dead. They were down by about 50 points at the half, and they've cut that lead now to 46. No, 36. Still a sizable lead for Humboldt. It's hard to turn it around that fast when you've got that ability to call off a jam.
It really is. For a long time, I'd never actually seen a roller derby game with a big comeback. And then when I went to watch the World Championships up in Portland, there was one of those huge comeback games that at the last second ended up with the team that had been behind the whole game coming up on top.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was in a playoff for the World Championship?
Absolutely, yeah. It was fantastic. It was one of those last second catch up and on the last bout go ahead by a couple of points, and it was very impressive.
Where did they hold that event? I mean, was it in a big stadium or was it?
Yeah, oh man, I wish I could. It's at the same place where they have the Portland Trailblazers, I think, but there was a different hall in the same facility.
There you go. And then, were those games packed?
It differed as you went through the weekend. The first games, it was pretty depressingly small, but by the time that you got to the actual finals, yeah, it was pretty packed by then.
And Portland won?
Yeah, they did. Rose City has an incredible team. It was one of those things where you would watch a team working their way up through the playoffs, and they would look just completely dominant, and then they'd hit Rose City, and you could see just how strong Portland really was.
Cloverkill is broken loose for Humboldt and pushing his Florida man against that triad of Mod Behavior, Slam Chowder, and Bjorn Wicked. Cloverkill passes for some points. Speaking of passing, Florida man was looking to pass the head cover. And Cloverkill engaging here in turn 2. Pushed out and now having to start again. Cloverkill currently on a 4-0 run. 23-25 to go here in period number 2. Humboldt defense really sticking with it. The head cover has been passed. And that is Bishop, Tron Bishop, I think is the name. Yes, Tara Bishop.
But Clover called it off.
Clover called it off, but scoring 12-0. It's exactly what the Rolling Dead could not afford to have happen to them.
You know, I'm going to allow it.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, defensively, they had to guard against a run. I was going to say that run in the first half by Furious George. I doubt what a move by Furious George to break to the outside.
Speaking
Furious
of
George has been incredible. And what a move also. Big Perm back in there. Furious George. Oh,
wow.
Great job. Great job by the Humboldt defensive blockers turned offensive blockers. They did outstanding. And now the jam called off. And those were easy points that Furious George scored because of the transition from defense to offense by those blockers.
Yeah, that felt so coordinated. That felt like a really coordinated play. I love seeing that out of our team.
They do practice.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it was fancy.
It was good.
Bring out the tea.
Just like it was. Yeah, that's right. Just like it was drawn up. It'll be hard pressed to see anybody score 24-0 in a one jam.
24 is a lot.
You only get 2 minutes. So this is interesting. Corp Silver waited for her players to come out of the penalty box before taking on Humboldt and knocked out.
There we go. Out again.
Otterpop doing a great job, and Bjorn Wicked, and finally Corp Silver breaks loose, but also Chakra Punch. And now they're going to take each other on. And Corp Silver calls it off.
There's what you like to see.
Well, I mean, eating up clock is what Humboldt needs. Hold on to this lead. 126-74. It's going to be the Existential Dead and Cherry Bomber as the jammers.
I love that there's an H in Cherry Bomber's name. I try to hit it just perfect, like Cherry Bomb her.
There it is. The bomber is loose. Cherry Bomber. Running into the back of that pack. Oh, I'll tell you what, Bash and Robbins was just that. Got run over by Cherry Bomber. And this is a pivotal point in the match where if Humboldt can extend with another big-time run, and they're going to have the advantage because they're on a power jam. In the penalty box right now is
Existential Dead.
Existential Dead. Bomber raising her hand to the crowd, clapping and getting her blockers going, and they're just mowing through. Bomber on the loose and calling off. He's done enough. There you go.
And keeping Existential Dead in the penalty box to start the next jam. That's beautiful.
We talked about a 24-0 run that occurred in the first half. You don't have to have that when you have two 12-0 runs in succession in the second half. So
that's very true.
I mean, you do the math. It all adds up the same. 138-74.
That's a pretty beautiful score.
Yep. Yep. This is redemption.
Breath of fresh air.
Yes. Yep. Lose by over 300 and then go ahead and come back the very next time out and have a good effort like this. That is fantastic.
Well, I think that sometimes you learn a lot from those defeats. If you have a defeat that happens at the right time and it can really gel you as a team and give you drive, it can really help make your season.
Well, better to have something happen in the first game.
Yeah.
You know, so that you can go ahead and use it. So everybody on the jam line here, Poetic Justice will be the jammer for the Root Force. Poetic Justice is, who I think has had a much better game this game, pushing, and now finally out of the penalty box is Existential Dead, and breaking loose is Poetic Justice. So Poetic Justice really starting to come around here in game 2 and meeting the line of the Rolling Dead and now being called for a foul. So it's a power jam for the Rolling Dead. But I'll tell you what, great job here by the Humboldt defense. Slam Chowder, Maud Behavior, Peaches and Scream, Bjorn Wicked.
I feel like those 4 have been playing incredible defense tonight.
Well, especially they've rotated in and out on some, but it's been Bjorn Wicked, Maud Behavior, and Slam Chowder. Those 3
Absolutely.
especially have been the bedrock of it all.
Every time they've been in on defense, you've seen those scrums where everything gets tied up for a long time. I love to see it.
I think they work very well as a 3-person unit, and knocked out there was Existential Dead. And now, interestingly enough, Poetic Justice comes back on, has to start from behind the scrum, and then breaks loose. So Existential Dead never got loose. Wow. Talk about outstanding defense. And Poetic Justice is outscoring 4-0. Poetic Justice getting into a smash with Dumpling Hearst.
It is not often that you see a power jam where the one where the jammer was in the penalty box ends up scoring all the points.
Very unusual. And finally breaking loose because they've had to pass the undergarment and going down to the Detroit Demon. Let's look what the final score was, but you're right, an 11-0. So that's 12-0, 12-0, 11-0.
Wow.
And suddenly 149-74. Humboldt Root Force, in the course of about 6 minutes game time, have gone ahead and taken in control of this game. And now Cloverkill busts loose. Talk about keeping that lead jam. Florida Man gets away from Shredding Mercury, but hey, great job by Sugar Rush to have one last attempt at keeping the defense in front of Florida Man. Jam is going to be called off as Cloverkill will get 2 points, it looks like. 2 points and burn some clock, 151-74.
I might want to go back and revise my statement about what a close bout this was going to be.
Yeah, things have really opened up. Of course, you have a situation where you have 59 unanswered points as far as 4 jams, a 24, 2 12s, and an 11.
Yeah.
You know, that's the game right there. I mean, if you don't have those, it's a very close bout. So, and that's just something that didn't happen for Humboldt in their first game because they didn't have any sort of breakaways as the defense was so stifling from the Galaxy.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times the jammers get a lot of attention because it's fun, it's flashy, you know their names. But really good defenders can just absolutely make or break the bout. If you can get their jammers really tired several times in a row by just not letting them through, you can break their will.
Yeah, I believe so. You know, you get the jammers tired, and that's huge.
Love to see everybody out here dancing as the music's going. That's one thing I love about these derby bouts. Even if the score is a blowout, everybody is having a good time.
Well, yeah, that's hard. That's hard to do when you're getting hammered. Whoa, Furious George! Are you kidding me? Looked like she was coming out of the blocks.
But Big Perm right on her tail.
Furious George has just had a spectacular bout. And before Big Perm can get to the Humboldt Root Force defenders, the jam is called off. And once again, little by little, 2-0.
More of those unanswered points for you.
There you go. The 1,000 cuts.
How long has it been since the Rolling Dead have gotten a point? That's 5 or 6 jams, right?
I believe so. Well, here's Corp Silver taking the lead. And Chakra Punch right on their tail. Corp Silver going to call off the jam before Chakra Punch even gets there. That's interesting. A 0-0 jam, wanting not to give up points as opposed to scoring points themselves.
I thought for sure the Dead were finally going to get their points there.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, what the heck? You're down. You're down almost 80 points. $14:26 to go. Humboldt taking total control of this game in the moment. Cherry Bomber stood up straight, still gets through. Out of my way. Cherry Bomber coming around turn number 4 and avoids everyone. That time, for someone that is such a straight-ahead jammer, to have that kind of footwork is just outstanding.
That was some fancy footwork on the outside.
Fancy footwork. Meanwhile, Existential Dead is having a hard time. Cherry Bomber through again, and this is another one of these runs. What a second half. It started out with a little bit of momentum for the Rolling Dead, but all of a sudden, from about the 8-minute mark, Root Force has taken over. Now it's a power jam.
Wow.
Now it's a power jam. And look at these Humboldt blockers getting ready to go do some damage as offensive blockers. The cadence is being clapped out, and here we go. And everybody gets on someone, and that is just a walk in the park. Wow. My goodness.
I think this is one of those cases where you learn something from the loss and then you really prepare and you come in and you try some new stuff.
I'll tell you what, it's been very impressive, the rebound. We saw this last year after the game with Salem, Cherry City, and having them come after the game with Bakersfield, too. A couple of teams that came in and pushed them around last year, only to have Humboldt come back strong like they've come back tonight. And that's an outstanding quality in a team to do so. Poetic Justice being knocked out. So the Root Force have shown themselves to be resilient. Very impressive. Existential Dead pushing through.
Wow, it feels like she's been jamming a lot tonight.
Yeah, because she's been gummed up a lot, not able to get through. But right now, Existential Dead has the lead jam position. Coming up to the Humboldt defense, the head cover has been passed. It's Sugar Rush. Has been in the pivot. And Sugar Rush takes it to the inside.
Whoa, wow.
And you've got players flying every which way.
Was it Down Goes Frazier that I'm supposed to say?
That's, that fight only lasts 2 rounds. I want you to go home and I want you to Google it. It was fought in Kingston, Jamaica. Joe Frazier was the world champion at the time, having beaten Muhammad Ali in New York City, and then he fought George Foreman, and down went Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Cloverkill, who has had an outstanding bout.
Oh, absolutely.
Florida man delivering a blow.
Yes!
Oh, Bjorn Wicked. Knocking Florida man out. Here comes Cloverkill coming around and knocked out by Bashan Robbins. And Bashan Robbins, who's gotten the worst of it a lot of times tonight, finally comes up with a blow herself. And time is called.
It is tough to say which of the Humboldt jammers has done the best job tonight. There have been so many of them that have been really hitting hard. Like Cloverkill got a lot there. She's gotten a lot several times. George had that one enormous run. Just seems like it's a really solid effort team-wide.
The jammers have, it's just a completely different look to what we saw last month.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Chakra punch.
Thought Big Perm had that one there for a moment, but then went down. Chakra fighting off 4.
One thing for sure, I think tonight that Humboldt's jammers have exhibited a little more speed than the bombers for the Rolling Dead, and Chakra punch is loose. Coming up to scoring position. The defense is ready for Rolling Dead, and Chakra punch is weaving inside and outside and pushing ahead. Meanwhile, Big Perm is caught up. So Chakra punch is going to call off the jam. We are under 10 minutes. In fact, we are under 9 minutes to go. 178-79. A 99-point lead.
There's some good math for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you did that with the radio degree.
Yes, well, you know, and I'm telling you, I could disprove any medical study. 8:36 to go. It's Corpse Silver and Cherry Bomber.
Oh, what a hit.
Bomber hitting hard, but not taking that hit. The Detroit Demon, and we've got players all over the place. Bomber up and around turn 4 and heading for some point scoring. And right back. I like that. Going right after Detroit Demon, who they had the big bash with last time. And that's going to cost Cherry Bomber, going to wind up in the penalty box. And Corpse Silver breaks loose. Corpse Silver was thinking about passing the head cover. Did not. Puts it back on and gets ready to rumble. Here we go. Corpse Silver following her blockers into that fantastic quadrilateral of Bjorn Wicked, Otter Pop, Slam Chowder.
Yes. Oh, it's beautiful.
I think I got all of them. Oh, and Maud Behavior.
Maud Behavior.
The captain for tonight.
Oh. Bjorn Wicked took her one-on-one there for a moment. Incredible defense.
It's just exhausting. It's just pushing the pile. And Cherry Bomber, while that incredible defense is happening, pounding away.
It is the defense that is winning this game tonight.
Yes, it is. It really is. Cherry Bomber, why call off the jam? Here comes Corpse Silver. Bomber has been sent back to re-engage. And Corpse is finally going to call off the jam.
Hey, there's your 99. Oh, never mind. Over 100 points now.
100 on the nose.
There we go.
7-6 were the final tallies for jam number 16. 6:16 to go here in the bout. 185-85, a 100-point lead. Can Humboldt top the 200 mark? That is something to think about. Poetic Justice, who I think is, that's another player, a jammer that has gotten better as this game has gone along. Going to call off the jam. Florida man had gone ahead and had an opportunity to score. It winds up being haven't put it up just yet. Underwriters, Speakeasy Bar, New Orleans-inspired custom-built bar, seasonal craft cocktails, local fresh ingredients, live jazz, blues, music, and more. Rennie Public Law Group, providing legal services to public agencies throughout California, practicing public law in the public interest. Find out more at renniepubliclawgroup.com. Broadcasts of the Humboldt Roller Derby, their home games. We rely on our underwriters and A to Z Eye Care, dedicated to providing the community with quality vision care through education, technology, and excellent service. A little can here. And look at that, can on roller skates. My.
You're not going to see that at a football game.
No.
Well, especially because of the roller skates. Looks like the defensive all-stars are out again.
186-85. And Cloverkill tangled up with the Detroit Demon and gets away. Cloverkill coming to the inside. Meanwhile, Existential Dead must feel like actually dead after the defense that they've had to go up against. Bjorn Wicked, Peaches and Scream out there this time. Maud Behavior, Slam Chowder. Meanwhile, Cloverkill on the loose, and Bjorn Wicked to the penalty box. Cloverkill on the inside is going to score some more for Humboldt. And there's 4:24 in the game. Cloverkill following the blockers knocked out now. Existential Dead trying to score some points. Cloverkill has gone ahead and broke loose. Now we have jammer on jammer. But I don't think Existential Dead can pass her.
Oh, she looks tired. And you'd expect it with the defense she's been trying to fight through.
What a hip check by Maud Behavior. 12-7 on the jam that time. Make it 13-7, 199-92. Did you ever watch the old, you're too young, the old, the original Monday Night Football broadcast?
I don't believe I did.
Dandy Don would sing, "Turn out the lights, the party's over." 199-92.
I do love that you're making me feel young here. That's a rare experience for me. Keep them coming.
That's right. Well, I start my Social Security this month. So Furious George breaks loose, as does Big Perm. Quite a contrast in jammers. Wow, knocked down there. Powerful hit from Dijinx.
George calls it off. And I think you're right. You could not have much more difference in style between Furious George and Big Perm.
Although I will say one thing. I haven't seen Furious George be as physical as they have been in this match, this bout here tonight.
I absolutely agree with what you said earlier. Like, George has always been very jukey and can get around the edges and sneak through gaps. But I think tonight we have seen George be very strong and go one-on-one with a few people and win.
Very much so. Corpse Silver breaking loose, followed by Chakra Punch.
203.92 for a team that didn't score 100 in the last game to come out and get 200. Oh, what a hit! Bjorn Wicked and Corp Silver and Chakra Punch goes to the inside. Tremendous action. Defense getting ready to take on Chakra Punch. Here comes Corp Silver. Bjorn Wicked really took one for the team that time.
She's going to get one of those bruises she
Yes,
loves.
I think there's no doubt there. And locked up with Corp Silver now. And what a match. Now Chakra Punch. Chakra Punch to the outside. Woo. Oh, my goodness. What a jam. As far as action is concerned, saving the best for last. How about that? 8-8, 211 to 100. Well, good for the Rolling Dead to get to triple digits.
Absolutely. It's pretty impressive when you get this far into the bout, especially for the players who are on their second bout.
Right.
To see this kind of energy still happening.
Absolutely. Well said. 48 seconds to go in the bout. Cherry Bomber. Cherry Bomber, who's had a great second half. Followed by Florida Man. Bomber to the defense. Oh, knocked out. Calling the jam off. "23 seconds to go. I think it's probably going to just wind down and out. I don't see any points being awarded for that last jam. We're under 10. And let's see if this jam even gets started. And they do it with 1 second to go in the bout. The jam gets started. One last chance for some glory. One last chance to get a hit in there. It's poetic justice. Both the jammer and the actual ability to keep the game going. It is poetic justice. And breaking loose is Poetic Justice, who's had a fine second half, passing the head cover, and the head cover gets passed, and then Detroit Demon knocked out. Poetic Justice going to try to score, going to call off the jam. That's the game. The Root Force have rebounded in fantastic fashion.
Absolutely. What an incredible statement game.
It is, you know, to come back after getting waxed like they did and to come out and win 213 to 100 tonight. I think that's outstanding. What a great job by the Root Force.
Yeah, very impressive. Love to watch it.
So 213 to 100. What a game. What do we got? April 12th is our next home bout.
Oh,
Don't tell me.
You're
Oh,
looking
for
at the
God's
board
sakes.
member like you expect him to know.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not on the calendar committee. Well, we'll be here with you here at KZZH Radio and Access Humboldt Television for the Speakeasy, the Rennie Law Group, and A to Z Eye Care. For my partner, who's going to go do his research for the next one, the Merchant of Venice. I'm Paul Brassu saying good night from Franceschi Hall, where the final score of this one, resilient rebounding Root Force, 213, San Francisco Rolling Dead, 100. Good night.